Hello everyone and welcome to the stream, or welcome back to BeamNG Drive. I have got more of your mad automation vehicles to take around our autocross course. Hopefully we can get through a fair few of the vehicles today. Hopefully we can have some fun. There will probably be some rolls, there will inevitably be some crashes, something's going to have wobbly wheels, something's going to fall off. We might see new records. A 17.6 is our current, a very low 17 actually is our current fastest. I think 17.0 is our current fastest time. So we have got some quick cars. We have got some quick cars to try and beat who knows what we will see. Everybody who is in chat nice and early, welcome to the stream. Who have we got? McLaren Man, Corona, Lewis Clark, EMJ, Ewan, G Surfer, Chrysler, someone. There's going to be a lot. I can't go through all of them, but yeah, welcome. Well, this is our first vehicle. This is our first vehicle that we are going to have a look at today. It is called the Lampo Verde. It is from Pitva. It is all-wheel drive, V6 turbocharged, just shy of 300 horsepower, 228 torque, so it's not the most powerful or the torquiest. 1,029 kilos, making it certainly not the lightest. Not too bad though. Yeah, it's probably like I'm sitting here and expecting this to get around the maybe low 21s as a, I say as a benchmark. That's probably the wrong sort of thing. As far as expectations go, a low 21 is potentially where we are going to be looking at. This is the first vehicle, I will say, to have gone with this body style, as far as I am aware. It's the first vehicle to go with this body style. Yeah. Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Fingers crossed and everything. It will be good. I have no idea. Oh, it apparently does have ESC turned on, so that has got to go off, of course, on the vehicle. Nothing is allowed to run with the ESC, although if it does have ABS, that will stay on. It's also doing a little bit of a wheelie. It's slightly wheelies out of these guys. It's got quite soft suspension. It really, yeah, it really ducks and dives as you go to... It sort of squats as you go to put the power down. Big diving, under brake. No, it doesn't. Oh god, it big bouncing as well. It's almost jelly car suspension like we've got going on here. Doesn't feel too bad on the old acceleration front for what is not the most powerful of vehicles. It still feels pretty rapid. Come on, it turned. Although admittedly, the last automation vehicle I drove was my best worst car, which is not very rapid in any way, shape or form. So maybe that is, I don't know, it does seem like it's doing fairly well. It's probably not going to get up to the 100-mile-an-hour mark down here. It's 83 though, which is not too bad. It judders under braking, which is, I mean, it is a tad scary, the juddering under braking. You're never quite sure when it might have some issues, but it doesn't feel like, hasn't had the brake failures completely. Okay, that's a lot quicker. Oh, that's a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. That is a hell of a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. An 18.2 from the first run. That is crazy quick. That's got it. Yeah. That's very, very fast indeed. Also, if you do want to have a look at the vehicle kind of information, then in the description of this stream, I don't actually quite know how it works, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit new to YouTube streaming stuff. I actually don't even know why have I got that on. Is that actually showing up on... Sorry, I've just got to check. Yes, it is. I don't know why I've got Bandicam turned on. Go away, you're not needed today. Yeah, if you want to have a look at the information for the vehicle, you can. There is a link in the description of this stream that that will take you to... oh, apparently it's not in the description of the stream. Let me go update it very quickly. Yeah, this will take you to a big document, and a massive thank you to Cessna Porsche for all of the work he has done in compiling this list of stats. It's not got all of the cars done yet, but there's quite a lot of them, certainly a lot further than we're going to be getting today. It's, yeah, very, very impressive, and I thank you very much, Cessna Porsche. I don't know if he's hanging around in chat today, but yeah, it's a absolutely, absolutely incredible list of cars. The effort he's gone to makes it much easier for me streaming and makes it much easier for you guys watching to keep informed in something like this. For those that are just joining, I welcome you. We're streaming on YouTube today because, well, this is a YouTube series. This series started out, you know, designed going for YouTube videos and so on, and it's kind of easier for me to stream here because YouTube will auto-upload it after the end of it, as I'm going to be uploading all of these runs because, you know, these are the cars built by you guys. That's why we're over here today. So, the first run for this was in the 18s. That's a ferociously quick time. We are going to see if we can go faster. Could this really go to the top of the table? This would be one of the bigger surprises of the kind of competition if this got up. I mean, like, styling-wise, it looks a little bit interesting, to say the least. But, like, stats and figures-wise, this would not be a car that I'd instantly pick as a real front-runner. A good car, sure, but not as a real front-runner. An 18 on your first run is seriously impressive going. We're going to fire down it. And we had a big slide through this corner here last time around as well. I am getting better driving this course. It's always the way when you go through a series like this. I've driven this course quite a lot now. By the end of the near 500 entries we had, I'm going to have driven this course, well, 1,500 times. So you're going to learn. You're going to learn little tricks. You're going to learn little ways in which things are going to improve. There's no way you can do anything about that. Not with as many entries as we have. I can't be expected to go around the course. I mean, I went around the course a fair few times before starting the series, but yeah, you're always going to learn stuff. But this is just sheer car speed here. Oh no! We've clonked the wall. I mean, there might be a way if you were really, really precise to do that. It's another 18.4. Oh, that was some excellent two-wheel driving right there. That was some excellent two-wheel driving right there. I think that is some bonus points. I mean, I don't know quite how the bonus points work, but I feel like there should have been some bonus points involved in all of that. It's another 18, an 18.4. I don't know if it's quite going to get into the 17s. I don't know if we're going to quite get into the 17s, but if we can continue, if we can get a low 18, I think is going to be possible. A low 18, I think, is definitely eminently doable with the car if we get everything right. But of course, as you try and push on the final run, it's where mistakes might creep in. Yeah, it's kind of this is a very surprising car. We've got good grip through the corners. I would prefer it being a little more settled on acceleration. And to be fair, I would prefer it to not move around as much on the suspension. It feels sketchy. Not gonna lie, it feels very, very sketchy. But it works. It really, really works in this car. Although a little wide there, which won't help. A late apex might get away with it. I'll be slowing. Like if I have overshot the corner, at least I can potentially make the most of the exit and make up some of the time that you might have lost. Yeah, there's no brake issues with this one. And we are on to the back straight once more. It might only have 300 horsepower, but it really is making the most of that 300 horsepower. A little bit struggling through that long, seemingly never-ending corner. We actually had a little bit of a lock-up, even with the ABS on. We got the car a little bit squirrely. Can we get everything neat? Took a couple of bites through there. Ah, it's an 18.2. That's a damn good time. That is a very, very good time. 118.2 from a car that I didn't expect to necessarily see go that high up the leaderboard. That is pretty damn impressive. That is pretty damn impressive. Okay, we shall reset. With the... with this stream, I appreciate. Thank you very much for all of the donations we've had so far. I'll kind of do the 3 runs with the car, and then we'll read out donations if we have them to get through. It might take me a little bit of time to get to them, but I shall. We have got Cutie Socks. Thank you very much for the donation, saying, "What a YouTube stream! I am one confused furry. How much do you plan on streaming here in the future, Alex? I find YouTube to be a much nicer platform to stream on, as well as to watch on personally." My plans, as far as YouTube streams go, I will be doing, as I said a little bit earlier, halfway through the run of this, YouTube streams will be done with this series, because this series being designed, it'll probably be a once-a-week thing at the moment while this series is run, being, you know, a series designed for YouTube, a series that got so many more entries than I ever possibly expected. So, yeah, this one will be a once-a-week thing. After that, I'm not sure. We will see if these go well, if these are doing well, if people are enjoying them. Maybe we'll see a once-a-week thing on YouTube or something. Personally, I prefer Twitch as a platform. Twitch has a lot nicer things around it, if you like. Like the actual service on Twitch, I think I much prefer. Of course, when it comes to my audience, the majority of them are already on YouTube, which as a thing is easier to build up. This car seems to have impact detected. This might be a problem, but we will get to that in a minute. Lord and Noodlebrain, thank you very much for the donation, saying, after you've done all the sub 2 litre cars, can you take the best worst car around the autocross course? Maybe we'll have that at the end of the stream. Maybe we'll have that at the end of the stream. If people still want to see the best worst car, maybe we'll have that as a special bonus category. We could maybe go for that. GTFX, thank you very much for the donation. GTFX, I will eventually remember to call you just GTFX, but there we go. Thank you for the donation, saying, here's £1 to pay for your bob. Anyway, how's my soldier doing on XCOM, and where did you get your bob from? Your soldier on XCOM is doing okay. I'm trying to remember what playthrough it was on. We only lost on the current playthrough, where we are probably going to complete the game next time out. There are only 2 deaths so far, and it has been quite a good playthrough. So yeah, if you were on the latest playthrough, you are fine. If you were on the earlier playthroughs, you probably died. I think you are okay though. I think I remember. We've got a lot of high-ranking soldiers on there. Down Under Thunder, thank you very much for the donation, saying, to make the donation counter an even number. We have got the great even and odd wars going on. Congratulations, you have won it for the odd numbers so far. I did see someone in chat, I think it's Tracy Pup, saying, I want to see some of the beam cars take on the course so we compare them to the vehicles that you guys have made. I am sure we will get some of those to go round. To be fair, this is another one where I started this series and I expected it to go a very different way to the way it's gone. I didn't expect to ever get as many entries, and I was going to run sort of beam cars around here as well. Anyway, this next vehicle, so I kind of get under... Whoa, that's very oversteery. That's really oversteery. Then this vehicle, this run's all got a little bit wrong, is from Leon R13. It's called the Mulk Motors Green Menace. Rear-wheel drive, turbo i6 in this, 350 horsepower, 260 torque, weighs just over 1,000 kilos. It's a fraction heavier than the car that ran last time. You know, not expecting this to go fastest of the rear-wheel drive cars. It's very oversteery. Also, I've been playing too much the Forza Drift update. I know that's a strange thing to hear me say. Don't drive it like those cars, because it doesn't have the steering lock to go with it. It actually got surprisingly good front-end grip. Again, this is another first for us here. This is another first with the body style. We have not had this vehicle. I mean, it is, let's face it, not ideally suited to autocross. It is very big. Very, very long wheelbase. Does not make for a good autocross car. Especially not very, very long wheelbase, very oversteery car. However, I mean, of the rear wheel, it's not going to go over the 2-minute mark that is our current last placed vehicle. I think there is somebody with a 20 horsepower car coming up. Won't be today, I haven't seen where it is on the list of vehicles, but there is a 20 horsepower car somewhere along the lines, and we are across the line there with the 38 one. It's kind of a little bit irrelevant. It is a little bit irrelevant at first run. We went for a big spin. It's also, as I said, not likely to be a top run. Always our fastest rear-wheel drive cars of 22, I think, mid-22. That is the table wing. Amazingly, the table wing is the fastest of the rear-wheel drive cars. The table wing, that was rear-engined, rear-wheel drive. A lot of downforce from the table wing. Was an outstandingly good performing car for what it was. I'm not sure too many rear-wheel drive cars are quite going to get into the lower 20s. I don't know if we'll see a rear-wheel drive go sub 20 around here. I think the traction issues are always going to be present. You've just got to be so patient and careful with the throttle. I mean, this one, as you can see, is very clearly a slightly less serious sort of build, and it's great to have, as I said, you know, throughout this series, it's great to have the less serious builds, or, you know, a car that was built for a completely another purpose, but is fit for the 2-litre category. Just see how it does. That's what makes the series interesting. Everybody had the ultra-sensible, you know, realistic competitors. While it would be fun for me to drive them and so on, you want a bit of variety. You want that little bit of variety. Are we going to be weavy? I'm aware of how oversteery this car is, and I've kind of got the hang of it. Kind of liking it in a slightly looser sort of a way. It's not my not my normal sort of car. This, oh no, that was far too loose. That was too much oversteer. I'm going to bin this in something solid at some point. I'm not sure what. We're going to hit something pretty hard. Oh, I'm overdriven there. That was all of my bad. Oh, it's all gone wrong at the end of this run. It's a 29. It's a 29, and ooh, we've done bad things to the front of the car. We've done really, really bad things to the front of the car. 29.9. We might be able to get that into the 28s. I think we should. I think we should probably be able to get that into the 28s without, because it was just all of the sideways at the end of that run. I mean, we also lose considerable amount of time just off the line, for example. The good news is in terms of engines, this one, we've had 2 turbo cars so far. Both have actually been pretty good on power delivery. Both have had good gearing. We've been able to just get out of the corner. Second gear is where I'm sticking at with this. First gear would just be wheel spin sideways. You'd change gear and then you'd be wheel spinning sideways again. So we will weave our way through here in second. I'm going for control. Yeah, the power kicks in nice enough through all of that. There is a bit of understeer from this as well. It's just ultimately it's not got the grip and is too long for this course. So put those two together and you're going to have some sort of struggles. I mean, it is quicker into the 129s, you know, sub 130. It is quicker than some of the, I say some of the joke cars, or some of the varying styles of competitors. So yeah, it's not terrible. It's not like the jelly cars quite. I'm sure we will have silly car. Whoa! Don't wheel spin towards that. Don't wheel spin towards the archways, because that's when we get a hurties. I'm trying desperately to keep you. I'm really surprised we haven't hit one of those yet, because the sudden wheel spin, the sudden, well, sort of car decides to go left. We have crashed that way before on runs where you just get that innocuous little bit of wheel spin and you are off towards a barrier. Come on! Hey! 28.6. We did go a little bit faster. I am pretty happy with that one. I'm pretty happy with that one. You know, that's about as fast as I'm going to get that car. That's not a shabby time. I have got the list of times here. The DLW was a 90 horsepower front-wheel drive car that it was in the 44s. The Buck GX, it was essentially a Buick GNX. That did a 37.1. That was bigger and heavier and less powerful and so on. So yeah, 28.6 is a pretty solid time. Right. donations to read out. Go Sport Jamie, thank you for the donation. Saying odd forever. Daniel Hafner, thank you very much for the donation. Saying happy to donate to Fail Race Industries. Thank you very much. We have got Down Under Thunder. Thank you for the donation, saying OCD dictates the donation counter must have an even pound. By the way, Alex, are you able to give me an idea how far down the list my car is? A ute called the Griffin Trails. I can do. I'm hoping it was submitted under the same name, because that'll probably be easier to try and find, maybe. The list is very, very long. The list... Oh, there it is. I found it. You are number 266 on the list that I have got, and our current vehicles that we are driving are at number... Where's it gone? Oh, bloody hell. We have just driven vehicle number 54. About 200 or so vehicles away yet. Yeah. This is going to be a long-running series. This is going to be a long-running series. I mean, 266 is also... Well, how many cars have we got on this? Actual entries, we have got 517 cars on the list. So you're about halfway through the list. We are about a 10th of the way through the list. Of course, we will probably speed them up more. We might have to do I might have to stream twice a week here. Don't know. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while. Go Sport Jamie, thank you for the donation, saying no, odd. And then Down Under Thunder, I say every pound, thank you for the donation, to make it up to evens. So evens are currently winning the winning the battle. It's madness. Madness for the donation bar so far. Right, shall we get the next car out? We'll try and get through some vehicles today. Where were we? So we've just done the Mulk Motors. Okay, we have got up next to try and find... I believe I have got every vehicle downloaded, although there might be some that are not worked or some that have got wonky names, essentially. The RBT automation from S. Muller. Muller? I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. Let's have a look for that car. RBA? No, it was R. Never mind, my dyslexia is playing up. I'm really hoping they are all named RBT Automation. There we go. This is the vehicle. It looks a little bit like the Hyper K. Again, it's gone for the hatchback body, which is fairly nice. Short wheelbase, maybe a little bit taller. The game's having a small freeze. There we go. Ooh, it was supposed to be purple. Now it's just all black. Sometimes the converts over go a little bit of an interesting colour, essentially. Right. So, as I said, this next vehicle is from S. Muller. It is all-wheel drive, flat 6, turbocharged, 331 horsepower, 295 torque. Fairly light, 917 kilos. It is the lightest car of the day, which is nice to see. You know, we want some light cars. Light cars are pretty good for this. We're going to turn off that traction control, ESC, not allowed in this series. Cold front brakes concern me. We might have troubles getting the brakes up to temperature, but you know, we gotta hope that it doesn't have those issues. Right, here we go. You haven't got... Oh, okay. Gears are pretty short in this. It hasn't got the double clutch gearbox. It's just a sequential box. That I like, because I don't have to spam through the gears to get myself into where I want it to be. This feels quick. It's got that feel of a quick car about it. Less moving around on the suspension, although transition from second to third is a little bit oversteery. Now, I'm not, as you will probably well know, I'm not the biggest fan of the oversteer, and around here, that transition can cause a car some grief, which you have to be a little bit careful. Basically, what it means is I will end up having to be full throttle less, essentially, if we're going to be seeing those kicks of oversteer. dealing with it is essentially longer gear ratios will tend to help. There's a very fine balance around this circuit between longer gear ratios to have a good gear to get out of a corner and to stop the sort of excess gear changes and those excess kicks of oversteer at times. But of course, you still do want short gear ratios because you want to have, well, you want to be in the power band essentially for as much of the time as possible. I think we almost tripoded in this. What is this going to be? First run, it's an 18.2. Okay. It's another fast time, not quite as quick as the Lampo, but it is. I thought that was going to be quick. I thought that was going to be quick. 17s, I think, are on the cards. 17s, I think, are going to be on the cards. Jorgen Asfim, I apologise, I'm mispronouncing that name. Are you going to create a season 2 of this series? No, I won't be doing autocross again. I think by the end of this, but I'm hoping I can get through all of the cars. But by the end of this, I think everyone's going to be autocrossed out for a while. There will be another build series. I'll probably change up how it works. There'll probably be more strict rules. Like this series, I wanted to have a crazy, you know, variety, go mad with the cars. I thought the 2-litre rule was fun because you have to kind of go, do you go for a turbo? Do you go for massive power but risk lag? I liked the idea of a limited engine size but unlimited everything else. But the next series I do with viewer submitted cars will be different. There will be more of a control to it, if you. I say more of a control. There will be less open. Should be interesting. I have some ideas as to what we're going to do with it. Not going to share them just yet, but there will be something else. It won't be autocross. As much as I love autocross, we're going to have so much of it to do here that yeah, we will mix it up with something a little bit different. We're going to have a big stop down there. Carefully does it. Oh, it's all sorts of twitchy. I say all sorts of twitchy. It's more twitchy by me almost. Stop the car for the hairpin. That's just been a little bit. I was kind of a bit tight to the hairpin in all of that. Third gear for the run across the line. 18.0. It was close. It was close. I think a 17's in this car. A 17 is in this car. It's whether I can do it. Whether I can do it without screwing up. It does become the fastest car of the day, which is good. But can we go quick? I quite like the look of it. It's not. I say it's not a pretty car. That would be wrong. Well, I say that'd be wrong. That'd be harsh. But there's. It reminds me of something, and I can't quite think what. But it's not as ugly as most of the bloody cars that I end up building. So. Right, here we go. A 17. Can we do it, or will I throw the car at a wall trying to get into the 117s? There was a time when people were wondering, well, Kerr's going to crack the 120. We're now asking, can a car go sub 17 around here? Outside, of course, the Formula 1 car. That doesn't really count. That was a silly thing that was nigh on undrivable, but if you got it right, was very quick. I don't know how fast we're going to see. Judging from the cars and sort of the progression we've got, I reckon an absolutely perfectly built car, perfectly driven by me, which is tough when you only get 3 runs to experience a car. We might see something into the 15s before the end of the series, but it would have to be an absolutely incredible vehicle. This run is feeling pretty solid. Mind the curbs, mind the concrete. That's why I love autocross. The challenge of extracting performance in such interesting circumstances. We are wide, and we're a touch wide. You can get away with it a little bit with the better exit. Now, shuffle the car over slightly. This is another car I'm really enjoying driving, actually. It's pretty damn fast, and it's good fun to drive. Oh, he's not quicker. I mean, it's all within about 0.4 of a second, that one. It's all within 0.4 of a second, 18.0 being its quickest time. There might have been say there might be a 17 in it. It was quick. You know, that was a bloody good car. It's not quite up there with the very, very fastest of vehicles, but it's damn fun to drive. That is a damn fun vehicle to drive. So, well done to the creator of that. Oh, the chat's trying to decide. Oh, please don't eat me. Yes, it was a Yaris I was thinking of. Thank you. It was a Yaris front end that it reminded me of. Zav, David saying it looks like a Renault Zoe and Velsatis. I don't know if that's pronounced correctly, but I do know the cars you mean. Right. We have got some donations to read out. Down Under Thunder was evening the bar up. Skivik, thank you very much for the donation. Saying I have a truck you have to try called the Skivik, 97. If it's on the list, I'll get round to it. I probably don't have it downloaded. I don't know whether it's coming up today. Don't think so. Sorry, I've not got it downloaded on the game. If it's on the competition, though, it will make it in at some point along the way. I've lost my place on the big old document. There we go. Yeah, it will be. It will come up at some point. Lord Noodlebrain, thank you for the donation, saying how many front-wheel drive cars are there going to be in this series? I do have a helpful graph for this. Helpful information bars on the document. It is... Oh, crap, I've lost it. Well, 6.5% of the vehicles are front-wheel drive. I don't know what that translates to in terms of numbers. There are, I think it's about 30 or so. I think I remember seeing 30 or so front-wheel drive cars. So not many, but there are enough to have a little competition amongst them. So I think about 340 of the cars are all-wheel drive. The rest being a combination of rear-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. There we are, back at the right place on the document. Ghostbot Jamie, thank you for the donation. Fixing, well, who did then uneven the donation bar. Mr. GB Red, thank you very much for the donation. Saying I have a horse named Mayo, Mayonnaise. Oh, good old GB Red with the dad jokes. It is. It's impressive every time. Mr. GB Red does not disappoint with the dad jokes. And Down Under Thunder, thank you for the donation, saying no, now it's fixed. I think that was the last donation to put it to even. And say this is my last donation for tonight. So you'll all make me broke otherwise. Well, for now, the evens are winning the great donation bar war. Right, we've had 3 cars so far today. Let's go and do another one. Our next vehicle should be interesting. Oh dear, I'm having a quick drink as well. It's the player asking, will I bring back Fail Race versus the Army? At some point, I guess I might. It's more about finding good mods, good police mods, or interesting police mods to have for that, as the ones I used didn't work, and I wanted something different anyway. It might be something that is going to come up at some point, or if I can find a different way of working it. Essentially, this chrome thing is definitely a thing. So I hope you like wings. This has got 4 of them. No, 5 of them actually. It's got 4 of them on the top. There's one of them. Oh no, 6, because there's one along the front bit as well. This is a real chrome car. The vehicle is from Day Duck. It is the Duckmobile Van Edition. Like, stats-wise, it actually doesn't look terrible. 454 horsepower, 342 torque. Christ, I can't English. So, that's a pretty decent engine. It is a turbocharged i4. Turbo lag could be an issue, but we'll have to wait and see. It is a tad heavier at just shy of 1,300 kilos. Now, okay, in reality, 1,300 kilos isn't too much. On this series, though, the fastest cars are tending to be around 700-800 kilos. So this is a fair bit of weight. My other big concern is, while it has got a lot of wings for downforce, it is very tall. And tall vehicles are likely to fall over here. But let's get... hold on, that's not... time's not going. So, yeah, tall vehicles likely or potential to fall over. We're going to have to be careful with this so that, well, make sure that it doesn't. Also, it is very long, which is not good. It also wobbles. Not even wheel wobble, like just entire car wobble. That's, I mean, I don't even know if calling this thing as a car is correct, really. Gear ratios are a touch short. It's not really wanting to be in second, but not sure if third works out of these corners. I might have missed that. Come on, come back. No. Okay, so we've got gearing. Let's say we've got gearing issues. I mean, outside of the visual assault that goes on with it, I think that's about the fairest thing I can say. Second gear is not quite long enough. Essentially, we can't start in the third out of these corners because it turbo lags to hell, but second gear is not really long enough for it to put any of its power down. I mean, like, it drives fairly normally. It does drive... Oh, no, 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 where are we going? It does drive fairly normally for such a assault on the senses. Do we fit through here? That was not a concern I ever thought about until this vehicle was something going to be wide enough to actually have trouble. There. The good news is this will fit, although I guess it's probably going to be pretty close. We can't afford to have any sort of wobbling around. Oh, okay, it's not so good. It's not so good on the brakes, but that's just because I'm so used to super light cars. Does still accelerate pretty well. It's going to be a wiggle up towards the line. It's a 25.6. Not the... not the fastest of vehicles so far, but there was a fair bit of gear-related learning, shall we say. So, what are we thinking, chat? Are we thinking this is the favourite vehicle so far today? I am generally fairly good at guessing what chat's favourite vehicle is going to be, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the one. Oh, if I didn't say, I apologise if I didn't. Hammered Adan asking what wheel drive is it. This is all-wheel drive. So all-wheel drive, turbo i4. Fairly standard kind of drive line. The wheels are decent size, not so big. It's got push rod suspension. It's got rear push rod suspension. This is a serious competitor with a serious amount of wings. Could probably take it to Pikes Peak. I actually think almost second gear is the same gear ratio as first in this. It's almost like it doesn't change point in the rev range when we went from first to second. Yeah, the gears are actually what's going to hinder this vehicle more in many ways than the immense size of it. Because there's no power for third and second's too short, we're constantly stuck at an awkward point. We're constantly changing gears. It is... Oh, I did leave that in third by accident. Yeah, so third is really no go. We just can't use third out of the hairpins. Certainly not fourth through there. I might need to. Well, I say I might need to. The engine protection downshifting thing is sometimes stopping me from downshifting because the gears are so bloody short. I'm gonna get some understeer through all of there. Yes, we are. Let's try. I mean, I do like trying to get fast times out of silly cars around here. It is good fun. This isn't topping the table. There's no way it's going into the 17s. But it's fun to see what speed can I get out of the car, despite it looking this mad. I'm also amazed that it hasn't fallen over yet. Admittedly, I haven't really clipped a wall, but now that we're on to, well, final couple of quarters and then it's onto its final run, we don't actually now want it to fall over, although it's still a realistic, quite high probability. I can't really see where I'm going across there. It's a 24/7. I mean, it could be a lot worse. Like this, genuinely, this could be a lot worse when it comes to a silly vehicle. This is definitely not a sensible vehicle, is it? But when it comes to a silly vehicle around here, 24s are not a terrible run time. It'll put it towards the bottom part of the the all-wheel drive cars, sorry, and I think rear-wheel drive cars will be able to still beat it if they are good. I don't know if this has an open diff or not, or something funky with the diff, because I think it was leaning and I don't know if any power came down, so there might be some diff weirdness involved as well. There's certainly some suspension weirdness. Oh, gently does it through the next corner and towards this next sort of technical, slower section. Try and use some power if at all possible. It's a little bit of bobbling, still bobbling, then some sidewaysness. Now I want this in Forza. I want this amount of wings in Forza. This would be my go-to drift vehicle. This would be the best drift vehicle in the world. Like, more wings are more good is the general general vehicle rule, I think. If you have 6 wings on your vehicle, that automatically makes it more good. Could we get a 23 out of this? It'd be quite impressive if we could. I don't know, that might be asking a bit too much, especially with a dodgy stop into the hairpin. Yeah, the gear ratios really hinder this car, I feel. But there we go, it is into the 23s. 23.8. I'm just going to leave that on screen for a little while because that is pretty respectful, all things considered. Tiago asking how do we send cars for me to test. Unfortunately, entries for this series are closed, as I said earlier. The entry list for this is utterly massive, and I'm having enough trouble getting through the cars as it is. So entries for this series are closed. There will be at some point in the future another competition that I will announce further down the line, but it will be a little while off. Right, donations to read. Skivik, thank you for the donation. I'm presuming telling me about his truck, the Skivik 97, is a giant blue truck with a 12-litre V12. Well, that will not be for this, but maybe we will have something where that can run in. Maybe there'll be something that can run in. I'm sure I'm very much thinking of a hill climb competition as the next thing. Whether it be on dirt or tarmac, I'm not sure. But big engines potentially could be fun in that. MD Productions, thank you for the donation. Saying I'm only making it odd because of conversion rates. As for another build series, rally cars could be a fun one to try. I mean, yeah, rally hill climb is potentially where I am looking at taking it. I would do a destruction series, but at the moment, automation cars are a little bit too low detailed for a destruction series to work at the moment, unless I can find a way of doing it. Nareths, thank you very much for the donation. Talking, I presume, about this van, saying it looks almost like one of those Japanese, I can't pronounce, bosuku, but I don't start with the whole make me say stuff in other languages, because I'll just do it Englishly and badly. That or Decatora? I think it's Decatora vans. Yeah, I can see what you mean by that. The headlights look like, oh god, what was that car that was on Car Throttle? Was it a Gaylord Gladiator that had like these giant, I think that was the name of it, like a weird American luxury car that had the largest headlights ever seen on a vehicle. So yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Like, as I said, I love the crazy weird vehicles. Anyway, that actually went surprisingly well. A 23.8 is a really respectable time. Really respectable time for a vehicle. What have we got next? Oh god. I've seen what we've got next. It weighs nearly 2 tons. We are going to have the Bronze Super Wagon. Here it is. It actually looks really good. We have got... Oh, we've got a squeaky kitten as well. Hello, Eve. Eve's just woken up, and when Eve wants to... Well, when Eve's woken up, but you probably won't quite hear this yet. Eve wakes up and she wants a fuss, so she squeaks until you give her a fuss. What's up, Squeaky? Are you coming over here? Yes, you are. Hello, Squeaky. We've got a kitten visitor. Are we going to have any more squeaks? Oh, now you've just sat on my controller. Sorry, guys. There is no more racing. Eve has claimed the controller. I've actually got a cat now upside down on my lap. Hey, how's it going, buddy? We okay? Yeah, Eve is fine. Are you going to go and try and eat the microphone again? Potentially. Oh, Eve's just here wanting a fuss. It's fine. I think we might have to have an asterisk next to any car that's run under the influence of kitten distractions. She's very distracting. She's also a very needy... Like, she wants a fuss a lot. She wants a lot of fuss. Anyway, our next vehicle. Hold on a second. Let's go and turn off the ESC, because none of the vehicles are allowed to run it. I really like the style of this car. Aside from the silly exhaust, of course. I think this is actually a pretty nice looking car. This is, as I said, the Bronze Super Wagon. It comes from Hybrid Tronny. It is rear-wheel drive, flat 6 turbocharged, 257 horsepower, just over 200 torque, but it is very, very heavy. 1,705 kilos. It is not the heaviest car that has gone, but it is a damn heavy car. In fact, there's a car coming up that's over 2,000 kilos, but this is one of the heavier cars that that we are going to see run in this series. That power-to-weight ratio is not great in all of this, but this is kind of more of a real-life car. Like, this is a sensible, again, aside from the exhausts, you could imagine it being a real car. That sort of engine wouldn't be surprising to see in a car like this, perhaps. So, here we go. Turbocharged, flat 6 vehicle. What are you going to be able to do with all of that weight behind you? Oh, okay, you are quite an oversteery one. Okay, that's... I mean, first gear is pretty long in this car, and that's actually, in this case, quite helpful. First gear is helpful here in getting the car out of the corners. I think maybe that was the turbo spooling up at that point, and that's just when it dumps it sideways. So that's going to be something I'm going to have to watch out for. I will say, to the car's credit, it doesn't feel like it's near 2 tons of vehicle. I've driven lighter that have felt heavier, if that makes sense. It does not feel like 2 tons of a state car, which should hopefully do the car well. Again, this is not going to be challenging. I mean, this is going to be challenging the Green Menace that went earlier. Was that second car of the stream? This is going to be up there fighting with that, in that sort of area, I think, the high 20s. I could be surprised. I mean, this is, of course, assuming we don't spin, but considering the weight. Also, very, very soft suspension. We've got Driftmobile a little bit. Yeah, it is very, very soft on the old suspension front. I mean, it's up to 68 miles an hour, nearly 70 miles an hour down the back straight. So, again, considering the power-to-weight ratio on this is really quite poor, that is not too bad. Oh, I might have wanted first out of there. Yeah, I think I do want first out of most of these corners. Eee, little wide through all of that, and now we're going to wiggle our way towards the line. Yeah, I think we're going to be looking at 28s for that. It's actually very, very similar first run time to the Green Menace 38.5, both having had a spin. Okay. I still think yeah, I'm not so sure about the rear of the car, but I still think the front looks really quite better than anything I've designed. Although, entertainingly, I think my best worst car was probably one of the best looking cars. I'm getting better, slowly getting better at the whole vehicle designing side of things. Problem is, so let's say the problem. I like to think I'm a creative person when it comes to, you know, challenges, when it comes to games, and when it comes to sort of racing stuff. However, my artistic skill is zero. My artistic skill is just awful. I cannot do art to save my life. And when it comes to, yeah, the vehicle designing side of things, my brain doesn't work like that. It's one of the many things that my brain doesn't do properly. And that art is definitely one of those things I just cannot manage, but there we go. Just takes a bit of practice. We are getting better at the vehicle designing. Oh, and getting better at not just using the same front end as well, because there's the same sort of style of front end I used on a load of cars at one point, just because it was vaguely acceptable. Now I've got some different ones not working too badly, I would say anyway. We're up towards that 69 mile an hour mark. I want to crack the 70, but I also want to get stopped for this very long corner. Come on, Super Wagon. A little bit of oversteer from you. I keep wanting to say this is the final corner. This is kind of the final main corner. One more big braking zone to go, I guess. We should say down there. It is the wiggle towards the finish line. It's a 32-1 as we spin around the vehicle. I'm not sure we can go much quicker. I don't think we can get the Green Menace's time. That's a 28 something. Admittedly, that was considerably lighter. Someone asking in chat, Luna asking in chat how heavy this car is. It is 1,700 kilos. It is one of the heaviest cars we've had. It isn't the heaviest, but it is one of the heaviest cars we've had, and it's a bit underpowered. That all being said, I quite like it. I really quite like it as a car. It's, as I've said a few times with this series, it's fun seeing what would constitute as a more normal everyday car run in this competition. This, you know, could well be a manufacturer's estate car somewhere along there. Probably, you know, like a high-spec version of someone's estate car, this. Now, it's going up in a competition against purpose-built autocross cars. You know, cars, okay, admittedly the 2-litre engine size and so on is in place, but this is going up against 700 kilo cars that are producing 500 horsepower. Now, it's not going to win against those, because it's not designed to in some ways, but it is fun seeing where it goes on the leaderboard. And in actual fact, this is not doing badly for a rear-wheel drive car. Yes, the fastest rear-wheel drive car is in the 122s, but a lot of them have struggled to go sub 130. So this is doing fairly respectably for a car that weighs well as much as a cruise ship. And this run actually is feeling pretty good. Yeah, it's a bit soft, it's a bit bouncy, it's a bit wallowy for this sort of a thing, but yeah, I couldn't possibly pick a favourite car. There've been so many good cars, but this one I do quite enjoy. I mean, generally send me a quick estate car and I'll be happy. That is a quick way to make me happy when it comes to vehicles. It's a little faster, but not actually. No, it isn't a little faster. It's a 1/10 slower than the previous run. Also, says Porsche, I can see you actually updating the Google Docs. So, thank you very much. Welcome to the stream, and yeah, a massive thank you to you for keeping that up to date and sorting stuff out in that. It is greatly appreciated. Oh, as I have just realised, I've missed out a car on the list of vehicles. There we go. Chat asking about the V16s. We have had 2 cars already run with V16s. V16s can run in this game. We had a van and we had a SUV run with V16s. It is a separate DLC for automation. They are very big and they don't fit in many cars, but they do fit in some. 2-litre V16s are very silly, but they do exist, or they can exist in Beam. I still really like this car. It might be one of my favourite front ends we've had for a vehicle. It does look very nice. Joe Parkinson asking why we're doing videos on Horizon 4 when it comes out. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to Horizon 4. I think it's going to be good fun. Probably won't be 100%, but I say it won't be 100% perfect. It's got a lot of interesting features. It's got a lot of interesting features. Kind of going a little bit test drive vibe, which is a good thing for a game, just sort of a fun, throw around, mess about little game. So, yeah, I look forward to it. I very much look forward to it. Right, our next vehicle. This one could be fast. We will spawn it in. Oh, I didn't actually. I should have reset myself. I think I've done stuff this one all up, haven't I? Yes, I have. Oh no, we all reset us back here. Perfect. So, the Nugget GT is our next car. This one from Trickster29. It is all-wheel drive. Unfortunately, other information not quite sure. This one was a file you had to request access because someone was a muppet and didn't upload it properly. I did faff around with the car in automation to make sure it wasn't cheating, but I didn't write down the times, or didn't write down the stats, or if I did, I can't find where they went. Either way, it's a little mini. It's an i4, judging by that quick flyover. It's probably got a decent amount of power. It also looks pretty mean. It looks pretty mean, which is good. Do we have... we do have ESC, so let's just take that off. We'll reset it so I can get a proper start on this first run. Here we go, little Nugget. what are we going to see in terms of a time from this car? It's also got... Whoa! Okay, we got brakes not working again. I think we got brakes not working again. Let's just try that. I don't want another car with wheel wobble. I don't know whether that was me turning in or whether that was just me being too late. Jesus, it's powerful. Okay, this thing is insanely fast. This thing has got a lot of power in it. I think it might have actually been, I was just going way quicker down towards turn 1 than I thought I was, as to how I ended up missing that one, rather than the ABS doing a funky. Good. Oh no, the ABS does do a funky, so we've got to be very, very mindful with this car. I think it's because there's so much acceleration in this and so much moving around that the ABS just freaks out because the wheels are not doing what it wants it to do. This is ridiculous. I mean, if this can be controlled, it's going to be so fast because it's got that really short wheelbase, it's got pretty good grip, and then, I mean, it's got a rocket for an engine, really. But turbo, again, we can see big turbo lag going on from the car here. It takes a long time to get up to... Oh, good God, that is so quick. That is the fastest we've ever seen a car go down there. That's 105, and that was 105 with me panicking and trying to get on the brakes early. It didn't work. Still didn't slow it down. It's just too fast almost for this course. This must be up with the 600 horsepower cars, I would imagine. That is so much power, but so uncontrollable. 24.5 for the... also 24.4 from the Nugget there. That is a lot. That is a lot of turbo. That is a lot of turbo with a lot of speed, but absolutely nothing in the way of control. So we're going to... The problem is now, I don't trust the brakes, so we're going to have to be on the brakes super early, almost everywhere, because I'm never quite sure when they're going to stop working. Of course, if they stop, I'm better off being a little slow into some corners than have a very, very big off on the one corner where the brakes fail. It's a bit annoying, but that's what it is. Oh, come on, please turn. It doesn't actually have great front end grip either, which doesn't help. I say that, it might also just be because I'm going so bloody fast now at these corners. It's difficult to, like, your sense of speed and grip gets warped when you have a car this kind of fast, because you're just approaching corners at lunatic speeds, which then makes it very difficult to judge, oh god, whether it's the car running out of grip or you're just flying 20 miles an hour quicker at a corner and holding on for dear life. And this one is a hold on for dear life job. Right, up through the gears we go. That's not stopping, is it? No. Okay, we've got to brake so much earlier than that. To be fair, my brain just defaulted back to the usual braking zone down there, which is not where we can stop with this. I would expect it to stop better than most cars being so small and light, but there we go, 23.3. It's quicker. It's quicker, but if I get it right, I think maybe a 21. However, that's a big ask. Oh, I've got a cat upside down on my lap, fast asleep. Eve, are we okay? I mean, I'm glad it's not a warm day today, particularly, as cats, certainly my kitten is a little heater. She produces so much. It'll be great in winter. It'll be fantastic in winter. We'll save a fortune on heating bills. Well, you really are. Like, she's full on her back, paws in the air. Apparently, the Mini is not exciting enough for Eve. Apparently, the Mini, not an exciting enough vehicle for Eve here. And panic and grab on the brakes for turn 1. Right, we're going to try, and I mean, this is a real, try and not go exploring with the Mini, but that's very difficult because I'm not trusting the brakes. I think this might be another case of a car that's just not, they're just not working. The brakes, the combination of wheels wobbling, freaking out the ABS, and the brakes actually not being hot enough. So this is a full, you know, carbon ceramic race brakes, I would presume, and they get cooled so quickly that through half of the first section of the course, this car just doesn't have any temperature. Race brakes need some temperature to work, and this doesn't get that. And then we've got all sorts of scary moments through there, up towards, or up through these next twisty corners. Oh, we've got our first two-wheel moment from the Mini. I'm amazed the van didn't go over. Oh, that's not stopping again. No, to be fair, that was more of a panic because I was going very, very close into the... Oh, there we go. It's gone. It's done. It's too difficult to drive around here. There was much concentration going on not crashing into the gantry bit that all of the concentration we were done for. It's too fast with nowhere near enough control. That's not what you want in an autocross course. It is also now upside down. Yeah. That is a very good case of a bit too much power. A bit too much power without enough grip. I wonder what... Those tyres don't look actually massive either. That's like normal-sized car tyres. But there we go. That was the Nugget. We're actually going to have another very, very quick car, potentially, up next. We're going to have, I think, the most powerful car of the day coming up next. Yeah, I'm just looking at how far down I've downloaded vehicles. This next vehicle is the most powerful car. We are going to run today near 700 horsepower. Hopefully, if it's downloaded, there it is. It is downloaded. Yeah, this is a lot of power. This is an awful lot of power. And we've just seen, well, this is an awful lot of power. It is a little bit heavier. It is in a little bit bigger a vehicle, which is good. This is from Maxa Lomotive. It is the FRM NSXR P2. It is a pretty good looking car. Yeah, using the NSX style body, we have got a pretty mighty wing. You know, fairly sensible looking car at the end of the day. The exhausts stick out, but I think the exhausts stick out on just about every car we've seen. Yeah, pretty good looking car. Pretty good looking car, this one. All-wheel drive, flat 4 turbocharged engine in this. As I said, 678 horsepower, near 500 torque. It is a little heavier than some at 1,100 kilos, considerably lighter than the Super Wagon. It is, yeah, the all-wheel drive, so, I mean, speed-wise, this is looking potentially fast. But if those turbos don't kick in soon enough, that's when we're going to have problems. Although some of the high-powered cars have been okay, some of them have been very difficult to drive. We will see. It hasn't got the double clutch gearbox, which is kind of nice. First is too short, so, oh, it's got silly gear ratios. That's going to give it grief. Second's going to have to be, oh no, that's turbo lag for you right there. Oh, this is not going to go well for the car, I don't think, because it's nothing, suddenly all of it, and then have to check. The gears are too short for a car far too powerful. If it could use any of its power, it'd probably be very, very quick, but I fear it's going to be stuck in wonky areas. That's a shame. A little bit. I mean, I'll still do what I can with the car. Hopefully we can carry some good corner speed. I just don't think we're not even gonna, ooh, understeer a bit over there. I don't think we're gonna have the acceleration. The first two cars were actually very, very quick in the 18s from those. They had, you know, 200-300 horsepowers, and they could use their 200-300 horsepowers very well. Oh, it's very quick down there when you can get it going, but not very controlled. That turbo lag is a big problem around this course. It will easily crack 100 miles an hour because of the phenomenal power down there, but it's about keeping it controlled when doing all of that that is the tougher tougher bit. We will weave our way through the final few corners. It is not a record for it's not even a three-wheeled finish, technically. 29.9 for our first run. Can definitely do better. I don't think it's gonna. It might. Oh, Eve, you're gonna fall off of me if you're not careful there. My kit. If I had Kitten Cam plugged in, I would go and put Kitten Cam on briefly so you could see what she was looking like. But to put Kitten Cam on, I'd have to move. And if I moved, well, she'd A, fall off, and B, not go back to that position. So, yeah. Sorry, guys. No Kitten Cam on this, but she is being very, very silly. She is very silly. Zeke is also, we call Zeke naps because Zeke finds different places to sleep every single day. And Zeke has two modes. He has sleeping and full-on attack playful mode. There is no in-between. There he is either asleep or he is chasing something around the living room. It's quite cute, it's quite funny, until it's your foot he wants to chase around the living room. Yeah, Eve is very, very friendly, and Eve likes a lot of attention and will sleep in almost as many weird positions as Zeke, which is not quite as weird. Not kind of making a hammock out of the towels that were drying on the area yesterday. The pictures on Twitter, it was quite impressive. I still can't believe he fell asleep in there. I mean, Eve fell in there at one point when playing, but no, Zeke actually went to sleep for a good 20 or so minutes in there, and then got out safely as well. Oh, the understeer is not so good in this car. Can we please get some sort of control? Right, brake nice and early. If there is ABS in this, it is certainly not working. Oh, that's big frame rate lag. I'm very sorry, car. There is not much I can do with that one. I hope that stream will capture that okay. Don't know. I mean, that's going to have costed a little bit of time. I'm hoping my final run will then be the faster run. It's quite an understeering car. It's 25.5 from the vehicle. It's not helpful game. 23 is probably the sort of lap time I'm looking at with this. Maybe a 22. Is that turbo lag? It is just not usable. It is just not. There's not. You can't use 700 horsepower around here with the turbos as they are and the gears making things 10 times worse. Because we've got to be in second as first is too short. This is difficult. This is why I liked having the 2-litre engine rule, because 2-litre engine size, you can get a lot of power out of them. You know, on automation, you can crank stuff up to crazy heights. You can get a lot of power out of them. But the sacrifice you tend to make is with all of that power, the car, either you have massive turbo lags or you have other issues. So you've got to be careful with how you go for it. The 300 horsepower mark, or 350 horsepower, is probably about the level that you want. 350 nicely accessible horsepower in a lightweight car, probably what you want. While yes, you can get 700-800 horsepower even out of a 2-litre engine, you probably don't want to. You probably don't want to. Turbos, of course, are the easiest way to make the power. Naturally aspirated engines, I think, are going to probably top out around the 300 horsepower mark. I can't remember what my Kestrel was, about 350. Yeah, sort of mid 300s are probably where naturally aspirated engines are going to max out in this sort of thing. That's kind of the... I'm surprised we haven't had more naturally aspirated, because that's, I think, where you might even be a little bit better off. That's why the Kestrel was left naturally aspirated. 23.1. Yeah, it's very understeery and the gears are wonky. So there we go. That is the FRM NSXR. Said it is one of the more powerful cars that we have had. It is one of the more powerful cars that we have had, but it's just too undrivable. It's just too difficult to make use of the power. For someone asking, Oyvind, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, does automation not have superchargers? It does not yet. I believe there is something that is on the way, but yes, there is no superchargers for now. We have also got a donation to read out. Lol Tyler, thank you very much for the donation. Saying why the YouTube stream, now you confuse me because everybody has different usernames. Is Maldonado here? Anybody from the usual Twitch streams? Question mark. The reason why, and you've evened out the donation bar, so the evens are still winning. The reason why YouTube stream is because, well, this series is going on YouTube regardless. This is a YouTube series, if you like. And YouTube will automatically upload the whole thing after I've finished streaming. It kind of just makes sense. As I think I explained actually at the start of the stream or whatever. But yeah, it just makes sense to stream over here. Seeing as it's going to end up on YouTube anyway, and this can put it straight on there. Yeah, easiest way of doing it. Our next vehicle today is a very special car. Oh dear. This one's going to be fun. So, our vehicle we are going to run next. This comes from... Christ. This comes from Phaser351. It is the FDT Racing Development's Boaty McBoatface. It is A, massive. It is B, front-wheel drive. C, a naturally aspirated V10. 341 horsepower in this, 213 torque, but it is 2 tons. 2,188 kilos. I mean, boat definitely describes it. It does have pop-up headlights, which automatically give it another 300 horsepower, but I don't think that's going to help. Don't think that's going to help the car here whatsoever. I don't even know if that wing's attached or not. I mean, it sounds quite impressive. Doesn't get going quite so impressive. Right, the wing is not really held on the car very well. I think someone's put one bolt in there. I have just seen on the Google. Oh yeah, the wings come off. The wings come off completely. On the Google Docs, Cessna has said wing not fixed to car. I'm not quite sure how you've managed this one because it's sort of attached but sort of not. The wing might actually cause us grief here in that it might get caught on something and screw physics up. We will have to wait and see. I mean, the actual vehicle outside of the mad wing, it's not a bad-looking sort of 50s American longboat. However, for autocross American longboats, probably not what you need, really. Is the wing gonna hold? I don't know if that's can't be good for anything, really. I mean, I guess I'm hoping the fact that the wing's flapping around won't give us additional drag. We sort of need all the acceleration we can get, all the speed we can get, when our power-to-weight ratio is about as good as this. And stop for the hairpin. The brakes are going to get a workout. Actually, in fact, looking at the brakes, it is not really troubling them. Hey, we did a sub 30 on the first run. The wing finally came off. I tell you what, for a front-wheel drive car, that is surprisingly impressive. That will become, entertainingly, our fastest front-wheel drive. That should not be as quick as that is. That is so heavy. But those... I mean, the front-wheel drive traction is really not that bad whatsoever. We'll just burn the tyres up. I'm more impressed with this car. This is the second time we've had a car with an insane wing do something that no one expected. In fact, this will now mean that both the front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive categories are led by a car with an absurd wing. Because the Mighty Table wing, well, that was a Mighty Table, and that leads the rear-wheel drive category. This is impressive, and this leads the front-wheel drive category now. I don't know how long they will lead their respective categories, but You guys are currently witnessing the great mighty wing domination. Now all we need is a mighty silly wing to rule the all-wheel drive cars, and there we have it. This time the wing has fallen off less. Not quite sure how we've managed that. Don't know whether that means I'm driving... Oh, no, I had to say something, didn't I? Curse of the commentator. Oh, it's off! It's gone! And now we have no wing. I mean, it's only a slight... Well, I'm not sure how it counts, how the mighty wing counting goes when it falls off halfway around the run. I'm still going to say that it's a victory for mighty wings in general. To be fair, I think they took an entire Vulcan bomber and stuck it on the back of this car. What are we going to do lap time-wise? It is a slightly faster... It is a slightly faster 28. Could I get a 27 with it? Could I embarrass something? Actually, no, I don't think I can embarrass any all-wheel drive cars because I think they... Where do they start? I am not sure where they start, actually, the all-wheel drive cars. I think it's about 20... There might be the 28 with an all-wheel drive car somewhere. Right. Come on then, Boaty McWingface. That shall be your name. Boaty McWingface. One more run to try and get a 27 out of the car. It's a lot of wheel spin off the line. I've got to say, front-wheel drive car, on-power understeer is nowhere near as much of a problem as I expected. Feared it would be, well, live up to its boaty name. However, that on-powered understeer doesn't really exist. There's just enough grip in the car. Enough grip. Yeah, like there's no real big handling issues other than it being a very large car and it not having the acceleration. It's not quite as wobbly through the corners as we saw from the Super Wagon. Otherwise, yeah, like handling-wise, it doesn't feel like it's 2 tons of ungainly car. The Vampire felt considerably heavier than it. I can't remember how heavy the Vampire was, to be fair, and this does have more power. The wing, if anything, is... I say that, no. Because, you know what? I've got to shut up and not talk about the wing. It held on to exactly the same point. I was about to say the wing, if anything, is holding on better again. And as soon as those words left my mouth, the wing fell off. So, or has twisted off. Let's try and not lose it. Can we complete a run with the wing still attached to the car as we head towards these final corners? It's feeling like a pretty solid run here. And across the line, yes, we did a 27! Happy days. Happy days. We did a 1:27.7. That's way quicker than I ever thought it would be. Oh, Eve's woken up. Hello, Eve. Oh, Eve woke up briefly, looked at me, and then fell asleep again. Well, Eve's excited. Eve woke up. Eve woke up for the excitement of the big old boat. It's definitely a worthy car. Definitely a worthy car. Or says the Porsche is less than half a second off the hell climb. So that's really good for a front-wheel drive car. That's really good for a 2-ton car. That might actually be quite difficult to beat for a front-wheel drive. I don't know if we've got any serious front-wheel drives coming out later down the line, but that might be a tad difficult to beat. I look forward to seeing what they do. Oh, Eve's rolled over and is now curled up in a different position. She's definitely excited by the mighty table. Okay, well done. Was it Fazza? Well, I actually think I've seen Fazza in the chat. So that's that's an impressive feat of engineering to have got that car so bloody quick. Right, let us go and reset all of this. Still like that wing. Still like that wing. What have we got up next? The ALS Hubris FRI GT. A lot of names all combined into one. Here it is. Ooh, it's a nice looking car. Tis a nice looking car. This one. Guess we will see how it goes. Mark Graham asking, have you thought about doing the same thing but with a destruction series with viewer submissions, etc.? We did talk about this a little bit earlier, but I would love to. However, automation cars do not break apart in the road. Like, the destruction series works great because the vehicle's slowly falling apart, and the automation cars don't really. The automation cars will go until a wheel falls off, and that's the only thing that can really kill them. There's no radiators, there's no drive lines. The engine can fail, but the engine... There's nothing... Well, you have to hit something hard for the engine to fail, and you won't have that happen during the course of the Endurodrome, for example. But if they change, if they change the way the damage works, it is possible. It would be fun to do. But, yeah, for now, as much as I'd love to, doesn't quite work. Anyway, our next car, this comes from Helix 8, as at the ALS Hubris. Another, we've had two naturally aspirated V10s in a row. This time, though, we have got an all-wheel drive one, 316 horsepower, 198 torque, but it is pretty light. At just 967 kilos, it is half the weight of Boaty. So, yeah, could be pretty quick. I would hope potentially a sub 120 out of this. Although I've been completely wrong about my guesswork for times so far anyway, so I guess we will see. Gear ratios are lovely and sensible. I like nice gear ratios. Say that this is okay. We've had some issues. I actually just looked down at the document to see if this thing is front wheel drive. It is supposedly all wheel drive, but this does not feel all wheel drive in any way, shape or form. If it is, it has got a lot of power to those front wheels, because that is just that is not a lot of power to the back of the car. We're going to have to drive this like a front-wheel drive, basically. So, yeah, that's fun. Also, the brakes don't work. We've got another car with ABS-related failures, or ABS-related weirdness. I'm not sure. I was thinking it was to do with the cars wobbling, with the wheels going manic, but this doesn't seem to have that going on. It's just it doesn't stop sometimes. That is better. Got the hang of it there. Very, very wide. Come on, get some grip. The boat understeered less than this did, and that's saying something about the boat. Now, I think this will be a faster car overall, but the boat did understeer less than this. Oh, through the course, 29.4. We had a lot of problem. We had a lot of problems on that run, but maybe my hope for a sub 1... I'm not sure a sub 120 is quite gonna, you know, happen with this, but there we go. Yeah, it's quite loud. It's quite a noisy car. It is quite a noisy car. I completely missed the start on that, so we'll give it another fair chance. I missed the upshift for the first gear. Now, let's not understeer a million miles wide. It does struggle. It really does struggle through these. There we go. Nothing. Maybe the diff is having some issues as well with this car. I don't know whether it's just got a one-tyre fire that's causing it grief, but it's certainly not happy. We're going to have to be a lot more careful if we're going to get any sort of speed out of the car. Oh, there we go. That was a lovely, delicate all-wheel drift through there. Did not really intend on doing that, but it kind of worked at the end of the day. More wheel spin from the front as we get chronic understeer from the car. I did see someone in chat saying it reminded them of an Alpha. It was a 147, they said. It's probably got the same sort of level of understeer as those lunatic front-wheel drive Alphas, with impressive amount of engine noise essentially to back it up. Pretty decent straight line speed up towards the 80-mile-an-hour mark. Just can't be aggressive with the car through any of these corners. We're going going to be a bit wide at the hairpin. Don't plonk the concrete. Easy does it, easy does it. Ooh. Now doesn't look like an alpha. 25.7. I mean, it is quicker than the boat. It is quicker than the boat, but that's about it. That's about it. We might be able to find a little bit more time. It's quicker. I mean, if it is front-wheel drive, I'll have to go and double-check, because certainly doesn't feel... If it is all-wheel drive, they've put the bias almost entirely to the front, which wouldn't really make too much sense. Definitely feels front-wheel drive, and... Come on. Make that turn. There's a little bit of ABS-related issues. If it is front-wheel drive, and this has gone quicker to the front-wheel drives, it's not too bad in terms of speed. 25 isn't actually a terrible run time, all things considered. However, the 2-ton boat felt nicer to drive than this. This out-accelerates it. This will get in between the corners better, but the 2-ton boat with the wing hanging off felt way nicer to drive through the corners. Good-looking car. Actually, the exhausts on this even almost sit neatly in place, which is a rarity with a lot of automation cars. And there's that noise. The noise is pretty good. The noise is pretty good when you can unleash the V10. And then steering doesn't work. Like, the noise is great, and then you get to a corner, and then the steering doesn't quite work around here. Come on. Strange car. And towards the line we go. I don't think that's any quicker. It's close. It's close. It is 225s. Cannot get any faster than that. Chat telling me to lock the diff. There is no lockable diff on the car. If they built it with an open diff, I can't lock it. As you can see, I have no buttons to lock it. I'm not allowed to run the ESC. Only the ABS is allowed. There is yeah, no locking diff. So there we go. Strange car. If that is indeed all-wheel drive, that's a strange driving all-wheel drive car. I mean, yeah, it's not an awful time, but difficult in the control department. Okay, we move on to our next car. We've had the silly vehicle section so far today. We haven't had a record break yet. We haven't had anything break the record, the 17.0 that is our current fastest car. So the next vehicle we have got, if it is downloaded, or if I say if it's downloaded, I think it is indeed downloaded. This is the Tara Vahav RSFR edition. I'm not sure I'm pronounced any of that correctly, but we have got an SUV. I have a sneaky suspicion something's going to fall over. I have a suspicion something's going to fall over here. This a naturally aspirated i6, 300 horsepower, just shy of 200 torque. It is fairly heavy, 1,600 kilos. It isn't as heavy as the boat, but that's still quite a lot of weight. And it's a high centre of mass here. If this doesn't fall over, I'll be slightly disappointed, I think. I'll be honest. If it doesn't fall over, I will be a little bit sad. We're not going to deliberately try and roll it, but we will see what it can do. It looks like it's going to be second gear out of these corners for it. Oh, it's a little bouncy. It's not the worst. It's not the worst thing to have kind of gone on with the vehicle. Can we put down that power? Struggling a little bit with the old power delivery. It is also all-wheel drive, I should say. So as we are getting out of these corners, it is I don't know whether it's the diff or whether, well, let's say if it's the diff. It's kind of bouncing around. Oh, the brakes are actually pretty good on. In fact, the brakes are cold, so we can get away with being more aggressive under braking. It's pretty much tripoding its way around some of these corners, which does make it a little sketchy to put any power down. I'm not sure the diff's really enjoying life. I mean, it doesn't change direction too badly. I just don't think it's going particularly quickly when you're asking it to change direction. But there we go. What are we going to see top speed-wise? 70 miles an hour is okay. Not up there with the fastest, but 70 miles an hour is acceptable. It very nearly rolled without even clonking a wall. That would be that's a slight alarming. Like the banking was enough to get this up onto its side. I probably wanted second for all of that. 27.2. Not the best. Not the best of the first runs. Definitely some more time. Definitely some more time to find. Hopefully. Right, let's go. First is very short, so yeah, it's going to be a second gear corner exit. It's going to be a second or third gear bounce. Not an ideal thing to have to deal with in a car. We're going to fly down towards the next corner, potentially. It's not. Again, it's by no means the worst driving car. The issue is a little heavy. Can't carry the quarter speed. Made worse though by its bouncing. Oh, I've got a very, very wide there. Yeah, made a lot worse by the way it bounces. I can't really jump on the power out of the corners particularly well in this. I mean, it will become the fastest SUV. I think the only other SUV-bodied vehicle that is gone was the stupid useless vehicle that was a full-on jelly car that fell over when you went around a corner. So, I mean, we have already beaten that because that was in a 144. It might not be the slowest all-wheel drive car. At least it's fairly consistent. Like, it bounces, but at least I know it's going to bounce, if that makes sense. It's not like the jelly cars that might randomly fall over, or it might fall over on that transition there it doesn't like. So as you come off the banking, you're turning and the car will try and get grip. It will try and get enough grip to topple over. It doesn't quite do it. I mean, I could probably make it. It's 27.6. Actually, not a better run. Felt like a better run, but not a better run in that one. Interesting. Okay, what can we do? Can I get the car any faster? Can we get it into the 20? I think we could, if I get everything right. Stop bouncing around, you lunatic vehicle. Please behave yourself. And around, hairpin we go. No. I think this might be maybe too stiff. We've seen a lot of cars with with more body roll than normal go so far today. I think this might be a case of too stiffer a suspension is just giving us a lot of grief. It's kind of got the hot hatch syndrome in a big all-wheel drive SUV with a lot of weight behind it, with it wanting to lift a rear wheel up into the air. It's not really what you'll lift wheels around the place up into the air, which is not what you want when taking on an autocross, and definitely not what you want in a big SUV. I mean, a little hatchback will get away with it around a normal track, but I could do with all available grip when it goes to these acceleration zones, which we just don't have. Oh, that's clonk on the wall. We got away with it. We might not get away with it there, though. Ah, come on. I think I might have bounced under braking, but I'm not actually sure. I don't know if I can make any more time on these final sections. It was feeling fairly good up until that point. It's not going to be any faster. We lost too much time bouncing. So there we go. Could have been worse. It does go quicker than the boat, only by a few tenths of a second. To be fair, the boat did have a wing falling off, but there we have it. I've still got a kitten upside down, fast asleep on my leg. In fact, I'm currently sat on my foot. I have my leg leg tucked underneath, and my knee is starting to go quite numb. I'm not sure I'm going to have a working knee by the end of this stream, but I don't want to move because I don't want to wake up the kitten. I don't want to wake up the kitten, but the kitten is being silly. You are very, very silly, Eve. She doesn't care. She does not care one bit. Okay, our next vehicle, we have got a car from... I think I've got it downloaded, actually. Oh, Eve's now back the right way up again. Here we go. No. I lied. Oh, Eve, you are going to fall off if you're not careful there. There might be a kitten. There might be a lot of scratches down my leg as the kitten tumbles off the edge of, well, me. There it is. Not a Porsche 911. This is our next car. This one comes from Zayas Drake. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that one correctly. But this looks like it might be pretty decent. This looks like it might have a pretty decent chance. Actually, not an interesting way of doing the back end of the car. Quite like it. Quite like it. Actually, I think it's probably one of the best looking 911 bodies we have had so far in this series. It is all-wheel drive, flat 6, naturally aspirated again. In fact, that's 4 naturally aspirated cars in a row. Just shy of 300 horsepower, 196 torque. It is a bit lighter than our previous car, 1,051 kilos, although still on the slightly heavier side. But if we've got the control is the important thing in the car. If it is controllable enough, then we might... Forgot how noisy the flat 6s are. This is going to be an assault of the ears. Because this is a... noisy car. Pretty good acceleration off the line. Not the... Oh, that's an understeer. This is the danger, of course, of the rear engine. While your traction is good, and if you have a rear-wheel drive car, of course, that traction is excellent. But as you go to put the power down, the front of the car lifts up ever so slightly. Now, we're not talking about a wheelie here, but it unloads the front tyres, essentially. Not what you want for getting around an autocross course, particularly. Traction-wise, we are good, and it is nice to have a car that I can change gear without it suddenly going sideways. I've also got to completely and utterly reevaluate what I'm doing in terms of braking points. So I've now got a half-decent sense in the car around here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, pretty good to drive. Can't find too many faults with the handling outside of a little bit of understeer. What are we going to do? Straight line speed here. We are going to be up towards 80 miles an hour. Now, let's not forget, this car actually has a very, very similar engine to the previous vehicle in terms of power and torque. It's just what 600 kilos lighter does for you, and probably wider tyres. Although we don't have the big axle wheel wobble that we've seen from other Porsche bodies in this car. So probably smaller tyres is better off for the vehicle. 23.8. Certainly not the quickest all-wheel drive car. There's probably a little bit more time in that one there. To go. The problem I have with automation cars is the volume of every vehicle is different, and trying to set up OBS to work with this car, well, I wouldn't say with this car, I will sort it out with this car, it's just going to have to be muted. So the next cars are going to be quiet. That's how it's going to work, because yeah, sometimes the flat 6s go insane in the volume. We have had a flat 6 car today that was okay, but yeah, sometimes the flat 6s are stupid noisy. Right, here we go. Can we go quicker? I would hope so. I think there's a little bit more time in the car. We're going to want... Probably going to want second gear out of the corners. Now, naturally aspirated is helpful for that throttle. say for the throttle, the power delivery, sorry, for the throttle response, I think was what I was going for. We will be able to get away with second gear out of these corners if we don't understeer so wide. That's where I think we're going to struggle. It's quick enough. It's not got enough power, though, I don't think, to make up for its understeering through some of these turns, because we've got to be just very, very slow. The only way we could maybe make up for that is with some brutal acceleration. Although maybe not too much, not uncontrollable brutal acceleration, but we'd probably want a little bit more. Can't quite get the front end in. Now, I was probably a little too late on the brakes early on. We've kind of got a bit better through here. We can jump on the power nice and early there. Doesn't matter if we run out too wide. Again, another 80 miles an hour. We jump on those brakes. I'm thinking a sub 20 potentially not going to happen with this car, but it could still be a pretty damn fast. I mean, hell, the fastest cars have been finishing as we head around the hairpin almost. It's another 23.3 that time around. Maybe a mid 22 might be possible, but I think we will see. I've got a kitten in all sorts of weird tangled positions going on. Eve, you're... Oh, don't fall off. Okay, Eve's very, very nearly fallen off the... I'm going to have a quick drink before we go for this final run with the car. I don't know what Eve's doing. Right, this is going to be a case of, can I get around this circuit quickly before the kitten falls off? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long the kitten's going to stay where she is, or she's going to... Oh, I think kitten might be about to go. I got distracted and missed the start there because kitten very, very nearly fell. Okay, kitten, behave yourself. Please, no falling off while racing. There's no Teslas this time to try and murder you, but your own incompetence / creativity when it comes to sleeping is going to be your undoing, I suspect. I can't look down because I've got to drive. Oh, getting off. She's gone. The answer to the all-important question of what would get around the corner, what would happen first. Kitten fell off. Kitten's also squeaking. You probably can't hear that over the flat six in this car, but I don't know why you're squeaking at me, Eve. You were the one that fell off. I haven't moved. I might be able to unlock my knee now. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not going to lie. I am looking forward to that one. Oh, no. I got that a little bit wonky. I don't know if I can save this run. That was a case of I was lined up and I thought I was good to go and just stuck my foot down, and it did not quite work as I had hoped it to. But it's one of those where I'm just trying to find any way to make up a little bit of speed, to make up that little bit of run time. I'm struggling a tad to find it, and that was one of the places I thought I might be able to do it. Got the hairpin nicely that time around as we head towards the finish line. Throw caution to the wind. It's not going to be enough. It was nudged too wide. Dig said we lost the lucky kitten. Yeah, that's the problem. Now we're going to go and be terribly slow. Now we're going to go and be terribly slow with all of the cars because we have got no more lucky kittens. Although my knee is now usable, which is good. Pretty big crash after the line. Pretty sizable crash after the line as well, which is always good, I think. Always good. Okay, that was the not a Porsche 911. A nice and interesting looking 911 bodied car. Right, our next vehicle is somewhere. I'm pretty sure I've seen this one download, or I'm pretty sure it made its way onto here. Because I download sort of stuff, or have downloaded a bunch of stuff. Sort of previously, just all upload them in one go into Beam or automation or whatever. A couple of times I've had dodgy folders not working properly. However, I think all the ones that I have got so far are working. This vehicle comes from CNP 92. It is the Nyring Rallycross. I didn't write down the information on this one either, because this one was downloaded last week. Or I did write the information down, but I don't know where it went. It's not in my notepad. In fact, literally, I wrote down information. Oh, that's that information. Anyway, yes, this one was another one that was an access denied folder for Cessnet, so he hasn't got the thing on the spreadsheet, and I don't know where I wrote down this from last week. It is all-wheel drive. Actually, let's go have a look, shall we? What engine do we have in you? It looks like... Oh, so this is now a quiet flat 6. We've got a quiet flat 6 in this. It is a turboed flat 6. Push rod suspension. Rear engine, as you would expect in this body. That's kind of the reason why you'd use this body, is to go for a rear engine. Shall we go and see? Also cold race brakes, but they might warm up. We're hoping they might warm up. Here we go. Let's see what we can do with it. No idea what to expect other than being all-wheel drive. We'll probably see... So it does... Okay, so we've got the same understeer-related issues as we had in the previous, well, 911 bodied car. Christ, it's quite a lot. It feels quicker. Definitely does feel quicker. That's that understeer. It's that understeer that is so difficult to deal with. Yeah, it's definitely decent acceleration. Now, this might have the power to get away with the understeer to an extent. It might have the power to make up some of the lost time. What do we have? Yeah, so the shifts between gears are actually pretty nice in this. We don't get that big kick of oversteer unless I'm being a real muppet, which I can be at times. We have got a decent gear to get out of corners. Oh, come on then, car. Let's launch you up towards this next. Oh, the brakes are very powerful on this. It gets stopped very well. It's a shame it doesn't turn. If it had a fair bit less understeer, this would probably be a real competitor, as it is very quick accelerating, very good brakes, just doesn't get turned through the technical stuff. It's a 24. A 24.4. I think there's just too much understeer in this. I think that's going to be its undoing. Kid Crack asking, how many cars have you gone through? This vehicle that we are running now is vehicle number 64 of 517. So, yeah, I mean, we've got through a fair number of them. How far we're going to get, let's say how far, how long it's going to take to get through them. I don't know. Oh, big wiggles. Lots of wiggles. Hello Porsche. If we could not have those scary wiggles, that would be great. Oh, God damn, like, I can brake so late in this car and I'm not quite utilising that. Got to get used to the amazing brake performance. I am surprised that this car isn't having the now fabled ABS turning the brakes off, because, I mean, this is the sort of car that I would expect to have. In fact, there is some wheel vibration slowing down there, but it's not turning the ABS off, so maybe my theory's out the window, because yeah, this thing is still stopping very well. Maybe it's something to do with the suspension of different cars, or I don't know. Either way, it's working here. It's working pretty damn well here. 82 miles an hour we get up to down the back straight. Again, we're not challenging the Nugget, we're not challenging some of the real fastest cars, but I'm actually still too early under brakes. I'll eventually remember how late I can get on the brakes with this. 22.9 with a big celebratory spin across the line, and there's a little bit more speed I just got to move my chair back. I'm just checking I haven't got a... Oh, I haven't got a kitten behind me. Moving my chair around, which is good. One more run. One more run. Can I get it into a sub 22 is where we're going to be looking for. I don't know. For someone asking in chat, apologize, I've just started the run, so I can't see who it was. Asking what map this is. This is a game default one. This is one of the procedurally generated tracks. The seed you see at the top is not correct because the game doesn't load maps in and correctly show the seed. But the track is not a mod. All of the cars are viewer submitted ones for this competition, but yeah, the track is not a mod. This is the little used autocross stuff on Beam, which kind of is a shame it's not used as much. It was really cool when it came out, and everyone kind of played it once and slightly forgot about it, which is why I did a competition. A, I love autocross, and B is why I did a competition around here rather than any of the other possible things that you could do when it comes to a competition with viewer-submitted cars. Because, yeah, these don't really get used. Most people forget about them even being a thing. The actual map that this is on is the ETK Test Center map. They kind of use one of the test bowls as the randomly generated circuit areas. And, yeah, as I said, these are all... Well, I say there's a limitless number of these that you can scroll through. This is the one that I happen to like for this competition and the one that I use for this competition, but there are plenty. Some of them are lapped circuits, some of them are just point-to-points. It's not a quick... Oh, it is a slightly quicker run. That actually felt really good. But that felt really good, but it was only a fraction faster. We did clonk the wall across the line. Doesn't matter, though. Solid car, just killed by understeer. Just ruined by understeer through all of that. A shame, but that is something that can happen. Cheating Knobhead asks, is there a chance for submissions to be ever opened again for a season 2? So I just bought automation to submit one. There will be another series. There will be another challenge, if you like, building cars for me to drive. It will not be of autocross, though, and it will be different rule sets. It'll probably be a more restrictive rule set. While there might not be an engine size limit, there may well be a cost limit, or there may well be a production unit limit. There'll be some form of limitations to stop just the quality side of spam. Now, this series was designed to allow. I specifically wanted it to have the possibility of quality slider spam because I wanted it to be mad. However, yeah, the next one we do will not be of this style, shall we say? Well, I mean, it will be of submitted cars and racing them, but it won't be as open, if you like. So, yeah, it should be. That should be interesting. I look forward to I mean, I'm enjoying coming up with all of these, driving all of these strange vehicles around this autocross course. I love autocross. I love the challenge of running around the concrete barriers constantly, and this has been good fun, seeing what people have got. Now, our next vehicle, this one comes from Will Sheppy. It is the Model 2 i4 Turbo, FR Edition. All-wheel drive, Turbo i4 in this. Just over 100 horsepower, sorry. So it isn't massively powerful. It isn't massively powerful, and it is a little bit on the heavier side, 1,446 kilos. So power to weight ratio isn't great in this. This is, again, another one of these cars that is more along the lines of a sensible sports car. 200 horsepower, all-wheel drive, Turbo i4 sports car. Sounds reasonable. Sounds fairly reasonable. So I don't expect this to go to the top. I don't expect this to have... It's not going to have the power to weight ratio to go to the top. Oh, it's also got very... Oh, wow, that doesn't turn. It's not going to go anywhere near... I think this might be on normal road tyres. I'm going to hazard a guess that this is on normal road tyres, which means we are understeer central, and then swiftly followed by oversteer central. I'm not doing this sensibly anymore. Sensibly's gone out the window. We're doing an expression session around the autocross course. I've definitely been playing too much on Forza with the new drift stuff. There's no grip. Did you fit your tyres with, like, sticky tape around them? The old RC car trick to make them slidey? Because there's literally all this wants to do. This runs out of the window now. I'm just having a bit of fun. I've never seen an all-wheel drive car be so sideways as this one, with only 200 horsepower. It's madness. It's fun. It's very entertaining. It's just not very quick. And then we run out of power. This might be the oversteeriest all-wheel drive we've seen in this series so far. It feels like this is a normal manual gearbox as well, because it takes it a little bit of time to change between gears. We've gone very, very deep into that. I've not got the power to do that sort of entry there, have we? There's definitely not the power to do that sort of entry. What sideways stuff? This might be the second slowest run we've ever had outside of the EOS, but I'm having it's entertainment value. We're gonna hit something soon, and oh, couldn't quite get it reversed across the line. Damn it. Almost got that spin perfect. That would have been 10 out of 10 bonus points if I'd got that spin perfect backwards across the line, but I didn't quite do it. A 50.2. Now for a sensible run. I mean, entertainment value high, speed value very low. That is slower than the stupid useless vehicle that lost a wheel. Right, shall we try and not go sideways? I mean, it is actually going to, like, incidentally go sideways at some point because there's no rear grip at all in this. However, we're going to try and do a run without excessively sliding the car around. The problem is the front doesn't turn. The problem is the front end does not get turned in whatsoever here. That is so difficult to drive. If this car had enough power, you could get away with steering it with the back of the car, but it doesn't have the power to really get away with that. Oh, come on, come on, come on. I do think we are actually going to have to start. I don't necessarily want to be sliding the cars around, but if I can do it without losing time, it might negate some of the understeer issues we're having. Now, I don't know whether it's the car badly set up, whether it's the tyres being funky. Oh, there's a squeaky Eve going on in the background. Yeah, I don't know whether it is car setup, the tyres just being not the right ones, but I am seriously struggling to get this car to turn into corners at like 30 miles an hour. So that's an interesting thing to deal with. Basically, the understeeriest car has become the oversteeriest car because it's the only way I can get it to corner. I mean, sure, that makes sense, I guess, in some weird sort of logic. This is going to have to be driven sideways. I wouldn't normally want to, and you will very rarely see me try to handbrake cars around here. As you saw, that last run was not quick. I mean, it was spectacular, but it was not quick. And, oh, there's no go. We can't leave it in second gear for that. This is going to be a better run. Less mistakes. 43. It beats the stupid useless vehicle. Just. There's also cats causing chaos. Hold on, I've got to go see what the cats are doing. Oh, that's where you are. I could hear cats causing chaos, and it was Eve on my sim rig seat. There is a backpack currently on my sim rig seat. Oh, Eve, you can't jump up my leg. Please don't try it with your claws. Oh, God. Eve's gone full kitten zoomies. I can see your kitten zoomies. She was attacking the floor. Anyone who has cats will know what I mean by floor attack zoomies. Eve's got them. Eve's also trying to jump from a cat tree onto the windowsill, and that's a big jump for a little cat. Don't do it. I know you're eyeing up all of the jumps. Yep, that was on my shoulder. She's on the Lego Porsche now. We have got a cat on the Lego. The scary thing is, She can jump up me, or she will be a parrot. She will sit on your shoulder. She can jump up me and jump from me onto the Lego Porsche. That's okay. I'd rather she didn't, but she's in zoomy mode. The problem is the only way down she knows how to go is jump from the Lego onto me. And if she gets that wrong, she just ends up grabbing my shoulder with her claws. Right, she's on the windowsill. I hope that will keep her busy. There's also a cat on the windowsill asleep, and if she goes too near him and he's in a grumpy mood, he'll batter one. Right. Little kitten, can I do a run with a car without you attacking me? She's now going over to visit Cass. I don't think they're going to have two. Like, Cass is fine with them, but there are some times where he wants to be left alone, and he will let them know that when that time is. She's just staring out the windows. I might get attacked by a kitten wanting to get down and having to use me during this run. I'm hoping not, but we shall... Oh, I completely stuffed up that launch. Never mind. We'll go... I might have shifted up a fraction too soon. I will restart those sort of runs. Oh, not really much. Okay, let's try it. I've been completely distracted by everything and pressed the wrong button for handbrake, and then I was not at all prepared for the corner. So we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to try and do a combination of slide the car through the turns, or some of the tighter turns, essentially, and then on the turns where we don't have to slide the car, try and make up some time, because it is really very difficult. I don't know whether this is going to be quick, though. That's the problem. It's the only way I can get the front end to turn in, but then we're wasting time elsewhere. But we'll give it a try. I mean, at least it's fairly nicely controlled with all of this. It's fairly nicely controlled sideways. It's not twitchy. It's just there's no front end grip whatsoever. I can't remember if I even said this. I've got a little bit distracted by kittens through most of this run. It is a good-looking car. It's a good-looking, sensible 200 horsepower sports car. Just a shame it understeers like a cross-channel ferry, and that's being harsh to a ferry. There's a hovercraft. Ow! Kitten claws in back. I knew you were going to do that at some point. Kitten on the floor now. I really hope that wasn't... There was a scrapey sound that I hope wasn't a Lego Porsche falling off. It wasn't a big crashy sound, so I don't think it was a Lego Porsche falling off something. But something. I think it was kitten claws across a Lego box. Oh, come on! Turn your barge! Don't know whether this run is going any better whatsoever. Come on! Do something, please. Get through a corner. You see, this is where we are wasting time, is where I'm trying to get out of these turns. Here we go. Towards the finish line. It is fractionally quicker. It is fractionally quicker, and there was a kitten attack. Thankfully, like, the kitten attack didn't even slow the car down. Oh, there's a kitten scratch across the Bugatti box. Yep, there's a kitten scratch across the Bugatti box. Thankfully, I'm not, you know, planning on being one of those people to sell the Bugatti further down the line for profit. One little scratch. Anyway, I mean, it was a fun vehicle to drive. It just wasn't very quick. It doesn't turn, so your options are slide it or understeer, and none are very good. So there we go. Yeah, fun, entertaining. I don't know if it was supposed to be that understeery, but that's what it is. It has got very small tyre. Again, this, I think, more of a normal car rather than a vehicle designed for autocross. We found a way to make it work. We found a way to make it work. I don't know if it's more fun to drive than the K cars. I really like the K cars. That was certainly the most sideways run, probably the most spectacular run. So that will lead on the spectacle. Although, does it beat the stupid, useless, fully over jelly car? I don't know. That'll be up to chat to decide. Oh, we've gone way past what I was looking for. Here it is. This is our next car. The ARF Supersport will be the next vehicle to run. Got another rear-wheel drive Challenger. Ooh, V12 in this. It is 310 horsepower. Just shy of 200 torque. I think the V10s really struggle with torque I've not seen a V10 with any amount of torque really go so far. So the V10s are not great in terms of torque, but 310 horsepower isn't too shabby. As a naturally aspirated V12, sorry, rear-wheel drive, 7-speed gearbox, a manual box rather than a sequential or double clutch. Just over 1,000 kilos, so it is a little bit on the heavier side, about 400 kilos lighter than the the i4 Turbo that's just run. But there we go. Oh, also this car, I apologise, I forgot the name. This is from the Shadow 105. So sounds pretty good. Makes a pretty good noise. Very, very high revving V10. Okay. Weird gear ratios. More oversteer than I'd like. Right, okay. Gear ratios are a bit funky, and the power low down, even though it's not turbocharged, if you are in the wrong gear, you can forget about it. Here we go, a little bit better. Okay, so it's a bit interesting to drive. I have a feeling this has got a bit of a wobbly diff. It's doing strange... It feels almost like it wants to do one-tyre fires, and then it's stopping putting power down. It's certainly a little bit peculiar. I mean, it's... Whoa. No. 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 Please don't oversteer. We had our fair share. Like, the all-wheel drive car was easy to control oversteer because it was all-wheel drive at about 200 horsepower. You won't be easy to control oversteer. Can I get any power down? We can. It howls its way up towards 80 miles an hour. Again, I mean, that's 80, or mid-80s is probably average speed, so perhaps this is slightly slower than average, but not too far off. We're going to get a twitch there at an awkward point. I actually wonder if I might be better off doing a slightly different line down towards that hairpin. Oh, please turn. There's a lot of understeer today. Oh, might have forgotten how wide the car was. I mean, it wasn't going for an amazing run. It's going to be probably a 24 and a half. Eee. Okay. Might have stuffed it up a little bit on that one. Just teensy tiny smidge. Nuclear Duck, welcome to the stream, saying, hey, did I miss anything? Well, there was a kitted attack, there was a sideways car, there was a car that had the wing fall off, there was a van with 6 wings attached, and there was all sorts. Oh, there was a car that was so fast it was undrivable. This thing here is a bit strange as well. This thing is a little bit of the... I don't know. It's peculiar. The brakes are pretty solid. The brakes are pretty good, and I'm now braking, I think, a touch early for some of these cars. We've had quite a lot of wacky cars go today. Now, when we get a car that has got sensible brakes, it's a little bit strange to then have to try and use sensible braking points. This... I mean, if I get everything right, maybe stands a chance of getting near the table wing special. I don't know if it can beat it, though, because that was way better than this on traction. Gear ratio-wise, they are a bit short in this car, although not the worst we've seen. There is normally a gear that I can get some power down out of. I did also see someone saying in chat that this looks like it's too stiff for a suspension, and I agree with that. There is very little compliance in the car whatsoever, and I think that's what, or maybe just too stiff a setup full stop. That might be what's giving it some grief around here. You don't want body roll, of course not, and extra wobblings, but when you've got the car so stiff it's lifting wheels off the ground, that doesn't help you. You don't want your car tripoding around the circuit. That's not good for anything, let alone an autocross course. I wonder if that is going to be a better line through there. It means less steering for me, and like you're basically changing the layout of the course to make a less tight corner. You know, this might stand a chance of beating the table wing. This might actually stand a chance of beating the table wing special. That is a real good... That's a good time for a rear-wheel drive car, a 23.1. We are pretty close. We are pretty close to record-breaking time for a rear-wheel drive car. Could we get... So we've had a record-breaking front-wheel drive. We've had a record-breaking style. could we get a record-breaking rear-wheel drive car today? Did we? No, I don't think any of the other real. We had some rear-wheel drive cars go. We haven't had a record break from one of those, and we haven't really looked like the first couple of cars were in the 18s, but since those we haven't really looked like challenging the top spot for this competition overall. We haven't looked like anything getting into the 17s since then. Ooh, there is some front wheel wobble from this car. Not the worst we've seen. The turning circle is very good on this. Like the low speed kind of mechanical grip in this car feels very, very good. All-wheel drive traction, and this would probably be an absolute monster, although it is a little heavy perhaps with not quite the power. The power-to-weight ratio is a little down. Whether you combat that with... Actually, no. In this instance, you always want less weight, because around this circuit, it's so much cornering. Less weight, better for cornering. While you can get better power-to-weight ratio, of course, with a more powerful engine, that weight is still going to be there when it comes to the cornering, and your cornering is also very important. Yeah, this has got very, very good sort of 20, 30 mile an hour levels of mechanical grip, which is going to help. You need that around the autocross course, especially for the rear-wheel drive cars that I can't just boot it and hope out of the corners. This needs to have the mechanical grip. So we're trying a slightly wider line there, making that hairpin less tight, making the braking zone a little bit better, and a run across the line. It is a new record. There we go. Front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive records have fallen today. 21.8. That's actually scarily close to my Kestrel's early runs. What did my Kestrel do? My Kestrel was a 20.5. I can't remember my own car. I have said this before, and I will, at the very end of the series, rerun the Kestrel. I have run the Kestrel through this course. I have done one run with the Kestrel through this course since knowing some slightly different lines, and I've got that into the 17s. It was 17.8 on the first try with that. But yeah, 21.8 for a rear-wheel drive car is good. That is very, very good going, and that is a new record. The mighty table wing was impressive, and chat is sad. Chat is sad about the table wing being deposed. The table wing was still, you know, a seriously quick time. But credit to the ARF Supersport here. That is some serious speed for a car that does feel a bit stiff, and for a bit scary on the old handling front. That is not bad. It's not bad. Is that push rod all round? It is push rod all round. Maybe, yeah, push rod and extra stiff push rod all round. Feels a bit scary, but there we go. Grizzly does say, wait, the table was rear-wheel drive. It was indeed. The table was very much a rear-wheel drive car. That's why we were so astounded by how fast it went. As, yeah, the table wing not only had a massive, massive wing on the roof, it looked silly, but it was rear-wheel drive, and it still went silly fast. So, at least, the ARF Supersport looks like a sensible rear-wheel drive car to go very quick. The table wing wasn't a sensible rear-wheel drive car that still went very quick. So, yeah, it's always fun when the silly cars somehow get surprising amounts of performance. Chris Falco say, this may have captured the chart, but the table wing captured our hearts. I think that is probably true, but, you know, credit where credit is due for the immense speed. Right. Textron HCS8 is where we are going next. If we have got that, it does not look like that file worked unless it is named something different. There is also the fun and games of trying to find the vehicle if it's got a different name somewhere. I don't think we've got that one. I'll have to go and look for it later. Doesn't look like it's here. Okay. Guess we're not going to be able to use that, sadly. Oh, well, I think a cat might have been to a litter box, because, Christ, you are very lucky you're not watching this in smell-o-vision. Jesus, which one of you lot was that? It's not Cass, because he's still asleep. I'm going to blame Amara, because it's probably coming from the upstairs litter box. And, the kittens don't use that one. the kittens like their downstairs ones. Anyway, our next car is going to... We do have this one, SNV Droop. This from 17. We will try and run this. Oh, says no Porsche. Thinks it's the red SUV. Could be, I guess. I won't run it today. We'll come back and we will check that. Ooh, I think we might got. Well, we've got full carbon fiber. I think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be a black paint, but we have got full carbon fiber. So a full carbon fiber all-wheel drive SUV here. It is powered by another. It's another naturally aspirated i4 this time. 315 horsepower, 210 torque. It is a bit lighter, 1,043 kilos. So that's actually quite a light SUV. It is a Superleggera SUV, I guess. Apparently, okay, so yes, the Mustang Bugatti's vehicle, it is the red hill climb. It's just got a different name in here. We'll run that next anyway. We'll run this first. I mean, it's got enough grills. It's got a very Audi-esque grill going on at the front. Doesn't sound massively impressive, but there we go. Oh, it's nice. It's nice having a manual gearbox sometimes. It actually gets going pretty sharpish. It's again, I think, a little too stiff a suspension because it's bouncing awkwardly through some of these corners. Christ. Whichever cat that was, I really hope that was in the litter box, because that stinks. I might have to go and check. That is impressive stink from one of you. I don't know whether it's more distracting having to deal with that, or whether having to deal with a kitten attacking you. Jeez, I've got the window open next to me and everything, and that's still not enough. It's still not enough, you smelly buggers. Normally they're not too bad. But no, that one there is a horrible, horrible kitten turd, I suspect. It's not normally Cass or Amara, but we will have to go find out and hope that it's not someone with a poorly tummy, because I don't want to have to... Eve's not been great at learning the litter boxes. She's been a right pain in the arse, and she has left little presents around a few too many times. We think we've finally got it figured. She's very picky about her litter boxes. I don't know why we're talking about this now, but I'm being distracted by this smell, so I'm gonna distract all of you with talk of kitten turds. Basically, yeah, Eve's been a nightmare trying to get to go to the litter box because she won't go in a litter box if it's been used more than a couple of times. So basically, you've got to keep cleaning out the litter box. 24.8 for the SUV is not too bad. Its power to weight ratio, I think there might be a 23 in that car. I'm going to quickly reload this. I'm going to go and check that there is no kitten crap on the floor somewhere. Well, it's not on the floor. Thankfully, they have at least crapped in the litter box. It just stinks. It just stinks. I don't know which one it is, of course. I think it was Eve, because Eve's upstairs. Eve has been upstairs. Zeke's downstairs. Again, there is a reason why we call her Shats. We have Zeke's is Naps. She is 100% Shats. But there we go. Right. Attempt number 2. 24.8 to beat. If we get a decent run, I think it's doable. Like, this power delivery, pretty nice. Overall acceleration isn't too bad. And actually, like, quarter grip is... Yeah, no, it's not too... Again, for what is a high-riding SUV body, like the center of... the roll center of mass is going to be higher in this than quite a lot of the other cars that have gone. So to have it handling, you know, this well is pretty good going. It's always going to struggle with the weight factor, especially with it not having You turn in the corner and it's kind of bouncing on the... It's a strange way. That shot, you kind of only see it for a second. It's almost like it's wheel hopping across the road, which is a weird thing to see. But I guess, to be fair, not many cars ever go through this sort of a circuit. But yeah, it's... I don't know what would cause it, but it's almost like as it's going around these turns, the rear wheels are just hopping off the ground from time to time. And final hairpin we go. That was actually pretty good through there. Now we've got to wait to get on the power a little bit, although it's not understeering too badly. That's a good time. 21.2. That is a bloody fast time. That is a bloody fast time for an SUV. I was not expecting that much speed out of the car. Okay, could we really get it into the 20s? I don't know. I don't know if we can find... I mean, that was a very good run. I don't know, though, if we are going to get too much out. This also is one of the faster cars to run with just a standard manual box. It has not got a sequential box. It's not got one of the double clutch boxes, so there is that little bit of delay between gears as you shift. I did turn in a little bit too much through that first corner. That has taken off the wing mirror, but nothing worse, although I don't think this start of the run elsewhere even has been as good. I think I'm pushing it too hard now, trying to find time. I don't know if I want first gear, honestly, around there. Oh, big slide. Now we can potentially get away with that a little bit. I think second might work. Oh, maybe not. We got some more oversteer. It's still wheel hopping around there. This is the corner you can see it best, but I haven't actually got a great run into it. We're going to see any more wheel hop? No, it's not quite going to happen around there. No, I think I want second. Yeah, I'd like maybe just a slightly longer first, or seconds to be at a slightly different point, but it's only fractionally. Again, nowhere near the worst we've driven, and the naturally aspirated engine is doing a good enough job of finding some power at these points. We're going to, yeah, big, long understeer around there. Few more corners to go. I'm not sure we're going any quicker, though, with this run. It didn't start off well. It hasn't really got any better. What is it going to be? No, 23.5. Hey, big roll to finish. A sensible, spectacular roll to finish. But yeah, that 21.2, I think, to be fair, was a pretty mega run. The 21.2 was a fairly mega run. So... So I will take that. Let's go for... So we've actually got another... I love how chat is still talking about cat poo. That's quite fun. I didn't mean to quite... I mean, to be fair, it's been distracting enough for me sat here, so I guess you guys can be distracted with it wherever you might be by chat talking about it. So there we go. Right, let us go and get... So, Mustang Bugatti, I don't know if you're still hanging around in chat. If you are, your vehicle is supposed to be called the Trexton HCS. I guess Hill Climb SUV would be HCS. So I believe that this is Mustang Bugatti's vehicle. If you are hanging around in chat, give us a shout and yeah, let me know so that we can... Oh, you are in there. Cool. Thank you very much. We will run this then. We have got double wings because 2 wings are better than 1. Although, to be fair, 6 wings are better than 2. Or 1 very, very large wing is better than 1 average wing. What's the ratio, do we reckon, guys, to 1 very... Like, how many individual wings does it take to beat 1 massive wing? Like Boaty McBoatface? I don't know. Let me know. Well, that was more like Boaty McWingarse, I think, would be the correct correct name for that car. Never mind. This is a big SUV now. The SNV Droop that just went so very quickly was a fairly small SUV. This is a big SUV. It isn't actually too heavy, though. 1,358 kilos. That's not too bad. Power-wise, 350 horsepower from the naturally aspirated V12, 229 torque. So again, it's a car that struggles a little bit with torque. These V12s not been great on the old torque. I've also just noticed where the exhausts come out. Has anybody had a roof, well, like outside of semi-trucks with like the big stacks, you don't normally have a roof exit exhaust. It is not a common thing, however. Yeah, that's quite an impressive sound for an SUV. Here we go. What can we do? You are a double clutch box. Ooh, brakes are a little bit funky. And are we going to be another oversteery, slidey car? I hope not. Brakes did have a big scare. I don't know whether that's just going to be me. Yeah, I don't know whether that's going to be just me braking a little too late for the level of acceleration, or whether we might have brake issues. Don't know. I believe this vehicle is all-wheel drive. Again, a little bit of hopping from the back end of the car. I wonder if something to do with the higher centre of mass and very large tyres could cause issues here. I guess maybe that's what's causing the hopping, like that centre of mass kind of pulling the car about as it's going around corners. Don't know. Straight line speed wise, it's another 80-mile-an-hour vehicle. Oh, bit deep under brakes though. Okay, it's 80 miles an hour. The acceleration is pretty good. The braking is not quite so good. Oh yeah, okay, that's struggling to make the turn. We have got there in the end, but it is okay. Brakes aren't the greatest at slowing it down. Oh, did I miss a? No, okay, it did end. It just looked a little bit confusing in all of that. 25.6 for the first run in the vehicle. Okay, I mean it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I mean, to be fair, the first run with the droop was a 24, so let's see what happens on this next run, see if we can find some time. I don't think we're going to get this into the 21 somehow. I think there's a little bit more understeer in this. And oh, God. Brakes occasionally don't work. I don't know how much it is automation exporter being a little strange, or Beam reading the cars a little strange, or how much they are interestingly built / designed cars. We're going for late apexes here, mainly because I don't have much other choice. We're struggling slowing it down. Yeah, which really does seem to struggle with the old brake. I mean, like, I'm looking at a brief glance at the brakes. They look to be, you know, sensible vented discs at the front, normal discs at the rear, potentially here. I'm surprised they're struggling. They are. I say I'm surprised they're struggling. Don't know what size they are. Can't see that. It is a bigger car, but still, we are going to have a big. Oh Christ! Okay, the brakes get very hot. That also will not help. That's not even a particular. Like, that's why it feels like the brakes are giving up here, because they really are. Okay, the brakes are fading. That is the first vehicle we've had. Normally we've got issues with not heating the brakes up enough. That is the first. Oh, well done. Well done, Mustang Bugatti, for making the first vehicle with overheating brakes by the end of the run. That's for a 125 run. Getting brakes to overheat, Mr. Pomamis? I apologise if I'm mispronouncing that. I know you was Juggernaut, so just wait till you see my brake fade, Mobile. Oh god, I don't need brake fade as something else to deal with. Yeah, like a 125 is not a bad time through this course, considering this is a big SUV, a bit down on power to weight ratio, with considerable braking issues, and roof-mounted exhaust. I don't know if roof-mounted exhaust particularly slow you down, but I feel like they're worth a mention just for sake of bizarroness. Bizarroness? That's definitely an official word. Right, let's try. Oh, I'm just really terrified of these brakes into these tighter corners. They are really struggling on this. They are really, really struggling to live with the SUV. I'm going to guess tiny. I'm going to guess tiny and not enough cooling to them is why they're overheating on this. We'll have a look at the end of this run, actually, see if I can poke the camera through the wheels to have a look, see what we are working with. There's still that little bit of the SUV bounce, I'm going to call it. And panic, panic, panic. Try not to fade them. Coming in. Please just have a rest. Have a cool down before we get to this next corner, because this is the next big stopping point that we need to work. It's very difficult to deal with the brake fade down there. Wiggle around the final corners. It is a better run. Actually, that's pretty damn respectable. We took the wheel off. We took the wheel off. We did a 23. Jeez. That is actually pretty impressive. I will say that much. To have got a 23 out of that, that is not bad going. Oh, yeah. Well, there's your problem. There's your problem right there. They are tiny brakes. That's why we're cooking them. There's another one. They are tiny, tiny brakes. That's why we've got massive... I mean, a good thing you've got the Steelies on there, because otherwise it would look very, very silly. At least, yeah, like here you don't notice. The brakes might be light, but they do have some issues. Still, 23 is remarkably respectable for that vehicle. And that's actually around a similar sort of time as the not a Porsche 911. The Porsche beats it ever so slightly, but there we go. That was an interesting vehicle. We had a big selection of SUVs go. We are going to have a time just for one more car. This will be the final vehicle of the stream. This one could be quick. It's an interesting one. Where has it gone? So, it is the Happy Bunny Superlight from Hatcherio. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that one correctly. Again, I'm just going to say I am sorry for mispronunciating everything. Okay? Let's replace our current vehicle. Okay, we'll run the worst best car ever after this, or the best worst car. We'll run that after this, but this will be the final competition vehicle. So Daihatsu Koppen essentially is what we have got here. It is rear-wheel drive i5 in this. Interesting engine choice. 116 horsepower and 75 torque. So the least powerful car we've had today by a mile. But it is also one of the lightest. I'm not even sure if it isn't the lightest car that we are going to have run in this series. 440 kilos. That's very light. That's very, very light. Now, we've seen 66 horsepower car go insanely fast around here for what it is. This has got more power and is lighter actually than the K car. This could go very, very quick. I don't think it's going to challenge the top. Also, being... Oh, okay, well... Apparently the wheels fall off really easily. Apparently the wheels fall off incredibly. We can't do that. Being rear-wheel drive does save weight. To be fair, it might not have enough power to get oversteer. The thing... Oh, okay, it does have enough power to... there is an issue with this. If this was going to go quick, it would need to not oversteer. And this has some... interesting handling characteristics, I'm going to say here. it probably won't be coming across on stream so much. I won't come across as much watching it as driving it, but it doesn't behave normally. It also falls over if you touch anything. I'm not so surprised by that. It's, I mean, pretty light and grippy. Oh, it's strange. It's very, very weird to drive. It's like it's got lots of grip and lots of traction, then every so often it just goes wandering. It just forgets that it's a car and wants to go and visit the scenery. And if it does that at an important time, we're in a lot of trouble. If it does that at an important time, we are kind of screwed. So... yeah, I mean, I think it will still go very quickly, but it's not as easy to drive as some of the other K cars that have been. I wonder if it might actually be because it's got so much grip. Like, if it's got so much grip, it's now actually making it a little twitchy. Also, as chat's saying, it needs a mighty wing, although that would add to the weight. When you're trying to make the car 400 kilos, you do want the car to... yeah, not have a massive wing for additional weight. This might set... oh, stop oversteering, please. I want to be able to put that power down. I want to be able to make the most of the lightweight vehicle. But oversteer does not help with that one. It's certainly interesting. I think if I can get used to the handling, I think it will be a very nice car to drive. It's not as easy as the other K cars, and that oversteer, I'm surprised that this has got such oversteer issues. The other ones didn't do quite the same things with their lower levels of power. It could all come down, or it probably does all come down to setup. You know, how you set up the suspension on the car, how you set up the tyres and whatnot. The lack of the wing might make a difference. I'm not sure how much it makes a difference in Beam. I know in automation it does, but I don't know how it translates to Beam. And of course, at the very low speeds we are going, don't know how much of a difference it makes. I say low speeds, I mean, this has still got 70 down the back straight because of the immense power to weight ratio in this. Come on, find some grip, find some speed around the corners. There we go. Chuck it up to the hairpin. We are all good. And run to the line. I want to get on the power nice and early. It's not bad. 24.6. 24.6, again, considering this is 100 horsepower. 116 horsepower, sorry. What was the time set by the... oh, God, what was it? The Blue Sky something or other, wasn't it? That did a... 27.6. So this is, yeah, considerably quicker. The Blue Skies was a full K car in as far as power and engine displacement, etc. This is bigger engine, bigger power displacement, but lighter, considerably lighter. So I think if I get it right, a 23, maybe 22, but you'd have to do it super perfect for that, and I'd need no oversteer. No oversteer is tough. No oversteer is tough in this car. Second gear is a good gear. Little bit slidey out of some of these early corners. I mean, it's good fun to drive. It is very good fun to drive. And considering this is going to go higher up the leaderboard than cars with 4 or 5 times its power output, that is the advantage of lightness, essentially, around here. It probably won't go fastest of the rear-wheel drive cars. I don't think we're going to beat the table wing or the RF Super Sport. I can't remember the letters that went before that, but I don't think it's going to be quite the quickest of the rear drive cars, but it is going to kind of embarrass some all-wheel drive cars. I don't know if embarrass is the right term. When a car's this light around an autocross course, I'm not really sure you could say it's embarrassing. Here we go. Let's run down the back straight, trying to get as brave as I can under brakes there. We were a little bit later. This is looking pretty promising for the car. Little kick of oversteer again from the vehicle. Slow it down through this next section now. If we can be neat and tidy, can we get it to 23.5? And let's it's quick. It's not quite up there with the table wing, but that's beaten, you know, all-wheel drive cars. That's beaten quite a substantial number of cars being a vehicle with just 116 horsepower. Yeah, for 116 horsepower, that is a damn good use of it. So there we go. It's good fun. It's a little difficult to drive. It isn't the easiest. To drive. It's a bit twitchy. It's wriggly. I think wriggly is the term I would use to describe this car if I had to use a one word term. Wriggly is a term I would use. It's good fun though. It's good fun. Now, to finish off this stream, we will have one more because I did say I'd do this at the start of the stream and I forgot about it. So we will run. Now, it's completely and utterly illegal for this series, owing to the fact it's got a 5.5 litre V8. It's also completely and utterly unsuitable because it's on awful garbage suspension and awful garbage engine, etc. But we will run the best, worst sports car that we came up with. For those people saying to lower the suspension, I will point out this is as low as the suspension goes on this. It revs to just shy of 4,000 RPM. It won't handle very well. If this goes sub 150, I'd be fairly happy with it. So, here we go. The best, worst car. Let us begin. Oh, God. It's also got an open diff. I entirely forgot about that. First gear is where it's going to be at, I think, with this. Just first gear everywhere. One tyre fires everywhere. Could you please corner? Please corner. It doesn't... I think I'm going to hazard a guess that the Turbo i4 that was so sideways everywhere, I bet that was on the same road tyres as this. So that's why that was so slidey. Now, that could get away with being drifted through all the corners. This has a terrible diff and is just generally awful. So I can't slide this around in the same manner that I could with the Turbo i4 vehicle. It's not quick, is it? It's very, very loud, I will say that much. It's one of the loudest cars I think we've had run around here. I mean, if I had a King Cobra to compare it to, that would be interesting, because that is basically what its kind of competition would be. Oh, you are terrible around this course. I think it's got to stay in first. But the diff is so garbage that it just wants to spit all that power away. Come on, go! What is the speed? What is the speed? It's a 57. Oh, there's no ABS, is there? No, it's just a skid. It's really not very good. It's really not very good. Come on, we can't go slower than 2 minutes. We can't let the EOS beat us. We are going to get beaten by the van. We're going to get beaten by everything else. Come on, turn. Please, please turn through somewhere. Wow. 53.3. I mean, I can probably do a 52. I want to have another go. There will be one. There will be one more go with this. I mean, yeah. This is a terrible car. That was the point of the challenge when I built it. You know, this was never going to be good around here. It is interesting to see how this sort of car... Again, like I've said with a competitor build, it's fun seeing how the cars not built for an autocross course fare when they go around an autocross course. Vehicles like the Happy Bunny Superlight, for example, that is a car you expect suited to this sort of thing. The best worst car is not a car you expect suited to this sort of thing. The good news is at least it won't be the slowest car to ever go around here. That'll still belong to the EOS. The bad news is it's not going to beat the likes of the Vampire. It's not going to beat the DWL. The tyres, I think, are the worst issue with this, quickly followed by the diff and suspension. Better tyres, we might stand a chance. but the hard long life tyres are not great. The brakes are barely used. Oh, and the brakes are barely used, and then one time when I needed them, I completely overshot like a muppet. Pretty sure there's a funky sound coming from my car as well, but I don't know what it is. It sounds like when I downshift, like a clicking controller analog stick, but I don't know what. There's a clicky noise somewhere. Yeah, there's something funky going on. There's a weird sound, and I don't know what it is. But that's really the least of our concerns. Oh dear. Well, I hope chat. I hope you are. Oh no! I've spun it. It was inevitable, really, because it is very, very oversteery. That was a spin from me locking the rears, I think, somehow. I hope it was worth it. I hope this was worth your time. I hope this was worth your time. In the end, it's awful. It really is. It really is awful around here, but that was kind of the point of the, build. I am tempted, I don't know whether you guys would be interested in this, but I am very tempted to use this car and rebuild it to be a good car. So we've had the best worst sports car and then try and rebuild it to be a successful sports car. That could be fun, like give it a proper engine, give it better suspension and see it. Because I actually like the look of it. I think it's quite a good looking car for me. But yeah, it might be a fun thing to revisit at some point in the future, try and turn it into a decent vehicle. But anyway, that was the best worst car tackling the autocross course. It doesn't go the slowest, which is good. I've had fun today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed me streaming on YouTube. I know it's a little bit different. Yeah, it works for this series, of course, being a YouTube series. So, yeah, we'll be back next week. Next Friday. Probably Friday. Yeah, probably Friday. We'll be back on YouTube streaming some more of these car builds. The Monday and Wednesday episode will be normal length episodes. Friday is going to be stream episodes. I hope you guys can join us then. Tomorrow, I am streaming. This weekend, I am going to be streaming. We will be on Twitch. We'll be at 7 PM in the evening on Twitch. There will be like an announcement video going up. We've got Gran Turismo 4 with Bob and his shenanigans, and GTA 5 is on Sunday. So yeah, I hope you guys can join us with all of that. But yeah, that is going to be it for today. Thank you very much to all who donated. I believe I read out all of the messages. Kind of the early flurry of donations. I believe I got all of those as we were going through. Thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated. And yeah, if there are any new viewers who have tuned in and this is the first video ever watched of mine, this is the sort of thing we do silly things with silly cars. Sometimes crash them. And sometimes end up upside down. Some of them are really quick, though. But, yeah, that'll be it for today. Until next time, goodbye.